Well, I'm getting ready to miss you.
For 2 weeks. It's crazy.
Technically 3 weeks.
Technically
we won't do
3
it.
weeks. That's
2
right.
weeks.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
I'll be next year before I see you.
We'll have to call. But this is a show to help guys that are going through some mental issues or physical issues, help them get by for an hour a week. If we help everybody for an hour or somebody for an hour and you help somebody and they help somebody, it'd be a good thing and this world will be a better place.
And this is a place that could deserve to be a little better.
Absolutely. Every day.
Every day.
So we're here at Miller's as we are most Wednesdays. Like Robert said, we'll be missing the next 2 weeks for Christmas Day and New Year's Day, but we'll be back on January the 8th to start the sports and frivolity again.
Oh,
Do you like that word?
I did.
Frivolity is a good word, isn't it?
I feel like Father Mulcahy probably used that one a couple times.
Father Mulcahy.
Jocularity.
Jocularity. That was his big word, yeah. So what'd you get tonight to eat, Robert?
I went standard French dip, which means no onions. Here they add onions to it. It was a surprise the first time I ordered it.
Onionless French dip.
Yeah.
And what did Liechtenstein Larry get?
I got the cheeseburger.
I got boring wings, but that's
Boring.
all right.
That's okay.
Lemon pepper wings are good.
You've had 3 different things in the last month, and we didn't think that'd ever happen again, where there'd be that much variety in your diet.
Well, I'm going to die soon, so I'm trying to get as much variety as I can.
Absolutely.
So, there you go. All right, let's get Ron Smith commercial up and out.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take that final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you, so please contact our friend Ron and his team at 440-561-0758.
What's that number?
It's 440-561-0758.
Thank you, Ron, for being the sponsor of the 3 guys who love sports here at Miller's Ale House. Welcoming back our good friend, Mr. Dylan Bledsoe from BioLife. Yeah, I almost said Biotech. Yeah, I'm sure that's happened
Close
before. Yeah. BioLite. I just like drinking 7 Gatorades.
That's right.
I was gonna say, knowing that he might become a sponsor at a point in the
You're gonna have to put an exclusivity clause in there.
I'll put a BioLite up here anytime.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me back. Yeah, good, doing well. So getting ready for some Christmas plans. Family lives out of the country, so I got to go to Canada, Great White North.
Blame Canada.
Yeah.
Where we're at.
Toronto.
But they're saying that the Christmas days is going to be one of the hottest Christmas days ever.
Yeah, it's they don't have any snow on the ground right now. I talked to Grandma yesterday, and they're not expecting any before next week either. So no white Christmas this year.
Yeah, but you gotta know that when you live in Georgia, they keep a weather tower on northern Manitoba to figure out what's going to happen to us a week from now. So there is no way they can possibly know what Toronto is going to be like a week from now, because it only has to travel 200 miles and it's on top of it. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I hope you have a good, safe trip. Though.
Thank you. I
Hard to
appreciate
believe it's just a week away, isn't it? Christmas, and it's 71 degrees outside. If you don't like the weather in Georgia, stick around 3 days. It'll change.
Oh, this weekend's going to be brutal.
Yeah. Hot?
No, it's
cold,
high of 44 on Saturday, high of 42 on Sunday.
That's when it's supposed to be at Christmas.
That's perfect chili in the crock pot watching football all day weather on Saturday.
Taco soup.
Yeah.
I love
Taco soup. I'm good with any of
I
that
love
stuff.
taco soup. All right, speaking of football, let's get into it. A lot of coaches complaining about the transfer portal this week. Lashley with, is it Lashley? Smashley, something like that.
Lashley, who's at SMU.
Yeah. Just said that this is ridiculous to have the transfer portal open in December, and I got to agree with him. And I hate seeing Tech lose Singleton. But I think prior to the bowl games that the portal should not be open. What do you guys think?
The portal should not be open until the season's over. You don't have. I've heard a couple good references to this one, but it's horrible. It's obviously nobody put any thought into it, sat down, imagined, what do you think it'll be like going into, 43 bowl games when everybody decides to jump ship? And,
like
where
Marshall.
Having to opt out of their bowl game completely. So.
But that's why you don't do it.
Yeah.
Will they even have a team next year?
I guess it's going to depend on
Well,
who they hire as coach.
it all depends on what the guy gets out of the portal because you
Yeah.
can always get more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting. Georgia might not even have a game on August 30th.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, if it's a difficult conversation because, unless you go to only one transfer portal window per season, you almost have to let it open right now because guys have to be enrolled before, because like the school part of this still gets in the way of this. They have to be enrolled
The
before
school part getting in the way again.
You mean for those athlete students?
I actually, I completely understand what you're saying, and you're absolutely correct. But it's got to change. You can't have this in the middle of it. And I don't know what the right answer is.
Yeah.
But the portal has to change. And then, people keep talking about NIL money. Do you tie it to bowl games to where you say, hey, you got to be around for your team's entire schedule to get any of this? Or I don't know. Hopeful that somebody sits down and tries to come up with something a little better.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing. I mean, it's above my pay grade to figure out, but they have to do something. It's because you're going to start to see coaches burn out at a much higher rate because it's so much. Who was it? The Boston College head coach last year who took a coordinator job in the NFL, but he went because college coaching is not about football anymore. It's selling your program constantly and negotiating.
You're absolutely
and
right.
It's so little about football now.
Which it's always been about selling your program, but
Correct.
once you sold it once, you were good.
Exactly.
You have to sell it to the same guy 4 years in a row.
Yep.
Not to mention, every other person who enters the portal. It's crazy. Something's got to be done. But at the end of the day, the people who are going to have to fix it, we don't have any confidence they can do anything right. So we're probably barking up the wrong tree, thinking that it'll get better.
Exactly.
Well, after what the CFP did, I think they got the playoffs right. Maybe there's some hope, but they're not the ones that are doing this. We talked about this last week on the show, Dylan, that somebody proposed that everybody gets together and makes everybody's schedule, as opposed to each conference setting their own schedule. And that way you don't have this
out of
strength
conference
schedule.
Yeah.
What would your thoughts be on that? Would you be willing to take that job?
I don't know that I would take it, but I would support the person who did it wholeheartedly.
Absolutely.
Seems like a bunch of chaos to me.
Even if you said, okay, everybody gets 2 cupcakes and 1 real game.
Absolutely.
And we'll just rotate those real games. Your real game will go, you play a Big 12 team this season, an ACC next year, and SEC. If you're a Big 10, just kind of, I don't know what the answer is. Like I said, we want these guys to fix so much, and we talk about them all the time. They're not very smart.
Yeah.
Are there enough cupcakes, or are there enough good teams spread around that you have to play cupcakes? That's the whole question.
Well, and that's when it starts coming down to, we played an SEC team and a Big 12 team. You played Mississippi State and Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give you too much street cred for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like Kennesaw. Kennesaw State opens up next year. Their first 2 games are at Wake Forest and at Indiana.
Oh,
So a couple of good paychecks.
Nice.
Couple of good paychecks for
Great
the Owls.
paychecks.
Yeah, right off the bat. And Wake will have a new coach. I think they offered it to the Washington State coach today, is what I read, or something like that. But
Yep.
they'll have a new coach. Yeah,
I do hope they get something figured out with this because a lot of the coaches have now, and athletic directors, Alabama's comes to mind, came out and said what's the incentive to schedule these big Power 5?
There isn't.
Regular season, and there's not. But from a fan's perspective, because next year, for instance, Georgia, we were supposed to open the road at the Rose Bowl against UCLA next year, and I don't know why that got canceled, but we replaced it.
Because we're not worried about UCLA, but
Yeah.
hypothetically speaking, yes,
exactly. But now we're replacing it with a home game against Marshall. Like you can ask any Georgia fan.
that was
no
the
one-
30th. That was the day of the 30th.
Yeah.
And we already know Marshall has no team.
Exactly. So I hope that is not the trend. I do hope that it is solved so that they're not, that these Power 5 schools are still incentivized to schedule other Power 5 programs because it's good for the game and it's good for the fans.
I
So-
agree.
Absolutely. Without those interconference games at the beginning of the year, we really don't have a lot to go on as far as, what we think about this or think about that, and not rewarding teams. And I understand, once again, Alabama has 3 losses, but they went outside, they played big teams, and then if you believe the SEC is possibly the best conference. Well, then you can't hold it against them when they all beat each other up.
Exactly.
You know, it's well, clearly that conference is better. Okay, well then their fourth best team was probably always going to have 3 losses. It doesn't mean they're not a good team though. So we'll see.
All right. So the biggest news in college football this week, other than probably Michael Vick going to Norfolk State, is Bill Belichick coming to the Tar Heels. What do we think about that?
Well, when I saw the report that it reportedly may be happening, I thought, somebody's playing a prank on somebody. Yeah,
Somebody broke into the AP office.
Of all the programs too, like if Bill Belichick's going to come down to college football, he'll go work for somebody a lot better than North Carolina. But hey, it's here. Signed a 5-year deal. I've got a lot of thoughts about it. I think he's going to kind of take the Kirby Smart approach to it. I don't think he's going to be one that players are not going to be able to shake him down for what these lists of demands. But at the same time, you have to play that. Everyone's like, oh, he's too tough nosed and he's not going to play this game. Well, that's what college football is. He will play the game in order to be successful. So.
Yeah, I think his dad coached at Army for something like 50 years. So I think that's a good pedigree for him. I think his advantage is coming back into college, and he can set it up to be like a pro program, and he can get them trained to be in the NFL. And I think that's the big bonus for UNC. Somebody from the Georgia Tech site posted, "Oh, that's horrible for us." It's not horrible for Tech. Anybody that improves college football is good for college football.
Yeah, I'm going to take a different angle. I don't see where this is helpful for anything. I look at it to begin with, and the oldest coach that there was got
Mac
fired.
Brown.
Mac Brown.
And then you took the oldest curmudgeon that you could possibly go and find and stuck him right in his place. And I understand that the game is more pro-like now. We used to have the college coaches go to the pros, and whether it be Spurrier or Saban or take it, all those different people that have done it who couldn't handle it. It was different. Well, now all of a sudden with the portal. And but we'll call it portal free agency, and we'll call it
basically what it is.
And NIL, we'll call that just learning how to figure out what your market is and how much
Semi-pro system.
Correct. So I can see this working for a lot of different people. I just don't see it working for him because although his dad might have coached a lot of stuff, he's not a spring chicken. He is. People have been making fun of him for the last 15 years that he did not want to. Do anything, and now all of a sudden you're in charge of the whole. I don't see it.
Yeah, I would be shocked if he makes it the entire length of his 5-year deal for sure. Whether that be he goes back to the NFL or he checks out.
Do you think he maintains the same relationship for those 5 years?
Yeah.
Because the dude can spot college talent.
Yeah, he can recruit. Yeah.
Well, one of the funniest memes they had on Gutfield, I don't know if you saw it or not, said the biggest news is Bill would be coaching UNC and his girlfriend would be starting classes.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I don't see it going very well because, you gotta get in there. And, when you if we hired you for this same job, how old are you?
31.
31. You go in there and you're like, hey, this is me. I'm 31. This is my future.
Yeah.
You go to Bill Belichick. Is this your future? I've learned how to play pickleball. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
College football again, and I find myself getting a little sad because it's all coming to an end soon. And when football's over, man, we got to have Dylan back on because he loves the Blue Jays and baseball, and he'll be able to talk a lot of baseball that I won't.
Yeah.
Boring.
Not a lot of positives on that. Though.
That's all right. Positives or not, it's still baseball. All right, let's get into our first bank of commercials. Robert, you want to do?
You want to do Kennesaw
You
Express?
want me to do it first?
Yeah.
All right. There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol, Kennesaw Express Lube, or Lawson Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business, and you'll find Brian, not Brain, under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol products. And just for a shout out to a sponsor, my wife took her car in, one of the driving school cars. She was told it needed a solenoid, has to get it back out on the road. Nobody has time to do it right now, this, that, and the other. And she decides to take it up to him. He plugs into it, gets the codes, and he says, well, you know, a lot of times these codes just mean you're way overdue for an oil change. We could just do that. Sure enough, she did not need a new solenoid. Brian figured out what the problem was, changed the oil, and she's good to go.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile, and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
What's that number?
It was 706-217-2095.
And we thank you, Josh and Tammy, for being sponsors of the Owls who the Owls who live sports too, but
They
three
do it
guys who
all.
love sports.
They do it all.
And speaking of the Owls who live sports, our good friends Will and Carrick and Garrett will be joining us at 7 to do a year in review from KSU. Almost rhymes, doesn't it? And the tailgating committee for the Black Lot is meeting with Coach Jeremy Mack on Friday, and hopefully we're going to get him on a Wednesday in January to meet the new coach, Jerry Mack. So
That'd be great.
It would be
That'd be great.
fantastic. All right, so talk about the bowl games, but first let's give Dylan the opportunity to talk about the 4 big games this week. Since he didn't make his picks, are you changing any of your picks?
I technically changed my first pick that I made.
Who is that?
I don't want to sway him with
Yeah.
my new thing.
I'll
but-
give you my picks, but then you guys have to give me your picks for those games as we go through it, though.
That's
so,
fine.
So Friday night, I've got Notre Dame minus 7.5 on that one.
Larry, didn't I take Notre Dame?
Yes.
Yeah.
You and Robert both took Notre Dame.
and I'm changing that.
You're changing that in Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of those games to me when I was looking at it. It's kind of like the Ohio State game. You know, there's a lot of, I think Indiana, the X's and O's, Coach Signetti's obviously done a great job up there. But some of these games, it comes down to the Jimmies and the Joes, not the X's and the O's.
Absolutely. And Notre Dame has way more Jimmies and Joes.
Yeah, Notre Dame's, that they've been recruiting at a very high level for a long time. So I expect the expertise there to take over. Penn State and SMU, I have SMU losing but covering the spread.
Okay. I think I've got Penn State. Do I not, Larry?
I got them 8.5, so I'm not sure what you guys.
Yeah, you have Penn State.
Well, how many points? We had 10, didn't we? Is that what it
It
was?
was 9.5 or 10 when we
9.5,
started.
yeah. So it's gone down a
Yes,
little
9.
9?
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll take Penn State and 8.5.
bit. Okay. Robert, what about you?
You had SMU.
Yeah, I'm underdog guy.
Nice.
All right.
And then I have Texas minus 11.5 over Clemson. I know that this is a trendy upset pick for a lot of people, but I just don't know that.
I don't know which one I took. I think I took Clemson.
You both took Clemson.
You took the orange team.
Yeah. Not the burnt orange team, the other orange
The
team.
other orange team.
Yeah.
Be interested to see how it happens. I know Cade Klubnik
Well,
is from Austin, so.
So those first 3 games, it's not a sweep, so it's 2
No,
and
no,
1.
not anymore.
No,
Yeah.
because I switched my first pick.
Yeah, because usually, like, we all picked Army, they lost.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. All right, and the last one is
And-
Tennessee and Ohio State.
Yeah, and I have Tennessee covering the spread and winning outright in that one.
And that's basically all I wanted to do. I ended up taking, I think, 3 underdogs and 1 favorite, and then I kind of looked at it after the fact. Just give me all of the underdogs. I think they're going to be entertaining games. Possibly the toughest game to be close. Well, SMU and Indiana are both going to have their work cut out to keep it close.
I would agree.
But
Yeah,
fun stuff.
I mean, I know Ohio State. Ohio State could easily come out and cover the spread and win, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me. But I can't forgive how bad they looked in that Michigan game. And I understand it's a big rivalry, and there's a lot more at play there than just the the coaching, and there's a lot of other stuff. But I can't forgive them for that. That was atrocious.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So more bowl games starting tonight. Are there any other of the bowl games that aren't in the finals that really intrigue you?
Yeah, I've got a list here. So, I mean, the Birmingham Bowl, Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt.
Should be a fun game.
I actually think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I
Yeah.
saw that there's a lot of interest on the Georgia Tech side. I think I saw that they fulfilled 3 times their allotment
Of tickets?
Of tickets.
Well,
so.
I think Brent Key is from Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
think that has
so
a lot
maybe
to
it's
do with
all 6,000 family members out there.
Well,
He got a big family.
and you know, at the end of the day, it's not a very exciting one. People want to go to the Bahamas Bowl, they want to
Yeah.
go Frisco Bowl, but if you're wanting to sell out a stadium in Birmingham, having people do the drive from Nashville and Atlanta, not a bad way to put a couple butts in the chairs.
Yep. Tulane in Florida kind of intrigues me. I know Tulane was in the college football playoff conversation.
You're just saying that for Larry.
You're
Go
saying
ahead.
that. Larry's a Tulane grad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, but no, I mean, Tulane was in the conversation until, 2 weeks before the season was over in Florida.
Till Army
obviously-
beat them, right? And the Army that beat Tulane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Army.
Memphis and Army.
Well,
So-
Memphis first,
Yeah.
but Army
Yeah,
is the one that.
and then
put the
Florida
name on it.
obviously had a much better season than people expected them to, and they've got they're going to have big expectations going into 2025, even with a hard schedule again. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of kick off.
Hey, just to back up for half a second, I pulled some weather up on the Weather Channel yesterday
For the home games?
For the home games, the
Snow.
high. Do you know what the high
no.
is in South Bend on Friday?
Like
It's-
2?
I saw it was-
33.
Yeah.
And that's the high. So
Yeah.
guess what? It isn't going to be 33 at 8 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
So just so much fun. And then that Columbus game the next day, same kind of mess. High is 28. They're not calling for snow, but if it's we'll see. I don't think it's going to affect Tennessee that much. But at the same time, if it did,
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me. It's 20 degrees. They're not used to that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Biggest storyline for that one is I'm really interested to see. Tennessee fans are expecting this to be they're going to orange out the shoe. I don't think it's going to be quite as much as they think that it's going to be, but I think there's going to be a lot of them there. So,
Well, the one thing that I heard was that, and I heard it about the Notre Dame game initially, but they said these 4 games, there aren't a lot of tickets for sale. This is like family. Like, we've had 4 tickets. We're taking grandma. We're taking, this is what it's all about. So
Right.
it'll be interesting how many tickets they're even able to get for Tennessee. So.
Yeah, I think Indiana and Notre Dame is the cheapest ticket, or is it the most expensive?
it was the
one?
most expensive last I saw.
one,
Yeah, I think Penn State and SMU was the cheapest, and that's that SMU has a pretty small fan base, and it's a long way to go.
I'd love to go. I'd love to go to a game at Happy Valley
Oh,
and see it.
absolutely.
That would be a nice, especially a whiteout night in the snow. It would be awesome.
That's my dream home opponent for Georgia. So I want to see
is
them
Penn
more.
State?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'd love to be up there because if they schedule Georgia, it'd be a whiteout. So get to see it at its best.
Yeah. Well, and Alabama, Michigan play too. Didn't they play in the playoffs last year?
Yep.
Playoffs?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the only reason they matched them too, because it was kind of a slap
Gotta
in the
be.
face to Alabama. I thought for them to match up with Michigan,
Yeah.
because Michigan had a pretty terrible season.
According to what I'm looking at, which allows on CBS's webpage, you can actually buy tickets. It'll go to a separate site.
Yep.
Texas game is the most expensive. Ohio State, Penn State is the second most expensive. Then the Indiana Notre Dame, and then Penn State is the cheapest ticket.
Gotcha.
You can get a Penn State ticket for $76.50.
Yeah, and that was like right when the playoffs were announced, because I know that the Indiana Notre Dame, well, and Tennessee Ohio State, those are 2 fan bases that the Tennessee can drive to Columbus and
Absolutely.
South Bend, or you can drive from Bloomington to South Bend in a day. So no
That's
travel
just an
involved with that
interesting one from them both being in the same state. They're not even considered rivals because one does one sport really well, one does the other sport really well. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, the
it's
state
massive.
of Indiana has
massive
never,
if you're
never
from
been
there.
a bigger football weekend for that state.
Yeah. Notre Dame really needs to get in a conference in terms
Yeah,
of football. I mean, that would help. That would help them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would help them because people bend over backwards to give them everything they want.
Get them
So,
into the conference.
I agree.
It depends on what happens going forward with the playoffs, with the the
what
12
they change,
teams.
the 12
What
teams.
they change, if they can never get a bye there, then eventually they're going to end up in a conference.
And I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, if it's kind of like we talked about Boise State. If Boise State's that good, do they even want to move up to the Power 4, or do they just take that spot? If Notre Dame figures they can get a 5, 6, or 7 and skip all that other stuff, they might just sign a long-term contract like NBC.
Well, I hope they just pick the best 12 teams and then seed them. I think that would be the best way. I just don't like these big point spreads in quarterfinal matches.
And I understand what you're saying, and hypothetically, I agree with you. But you remember last year at
I
this
was new,
exact
it's only
same time?
hypothetically.
Do you remember this at the exact same time last year? The 11 of the top 12 teams were from 2 conferences. So when they do the final 12 and it's only SEC and Big Ten teams, do you think everybody will be okay with it? Because I don't think you'll be okay with it.
Probably not. Yeah.
So I mean, you got to kind of mix in a few teams, even though we're not quite certain
But if they're
about them.
beating each other up and they're losing, got 2 or 3 losses, the other conferences are going to have 1 or 2 lost teams too. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's
I don't think Boise will ever get a bye again.
Yeah.
probably not.
Because if nothing else, I think the ACC and Big 12 are going to scream really loud about that one. Yeah, the SEC and Big 10 don't even have to mention it. It's like,
And I
what
really
the
think
hell?
Ashton Jenny got screwed in the Heisman, but it is what it is.
And me personally, I don't want either one of those guys on my pro team.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
They both got worked out too much
Too
in
much.
college.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Genty, running back especially, their legs go so quickly. So
Well, and 27 carries a game. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like they give him 18 or 17. You know, he never gets that. You know, he's 27, 32. You know, whatever. And then
Right.
Mr. Hunter, he led the nation in snaps. You know, that's not a good thing where I come
That's
from.
not what the
a
Heisman's for.
GM does not want to hear that. So.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see. College football, like we said, greatest sport in the world, just because of the controversy, and they'll never get it totally right, will they?
No,
There's too
but
many
the-
teams. You can't.
No, but we talked about it before. When there was only 2 teams, there was that third team, and that third team had a legitimate gripe. Hey, you think this, but then they brought it to 4, and that 5th team says, man, we should have been. At this point in time, if you can't convince somebody you're one of the top 12, then sorry, better luck next year.
I hope it doesn't move any higher.
I hope so too, because the only way it could really move higher is to have real chaos,
Yeah, yeah,
playing games.
yeah. Just like
The top 8 get
like
a
the
bye.
68. Yeah,
Top 8 get a bye.
I thought the next step was already going to be going from 12 to 16 with no buys.
I heard 14.
Well, I thought 14 was 2026, so I think 1 and 2 get buys.
Correct,
if I-
correct.
Something like
Correct,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, keep it the way it is. Let's keep it one way for a while, and let's see how it works out.
just want you guys to think about me when I go to Canada, because when I go up there and college football is getting bigger. My uncle and cousin, they've become pretty big Georgia fans. But
So
when
you don't have to explain it to them all the time.
when
anymore?
when I have to try to explain to them why everyone's seated the way that why the 11th ranked team is actually the 3rd seed, because I don't even get it half the time, and I'm gonna have to try to explain it to them, and they're just gonna end up telling me, well, this is a stupid sport.
So it's the top 12 teams. Yeah, it's the top 12 teams. Then why does that one team have a 16 next to their
Yeah,
name? Well, because it's not really the top 12 teams.
Yeah, and I sound like an idiot trying to justify, like,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's the greatest sport in the world, and they're like, yeah, okay.
It is the greatest sport in the
It
world.
is.
There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
It was a couple years ago, and I'm hoping that it gets its stuff figured out, because with everything going on,
It still is, though. There's
No,
still
I
nothing
agree.
that touches it.
I understand what you're saying, but this, with NIL and the portal, you better figure some stuff out quickly and kind of
Yeah.
kibosh some of
They
that
got,
stuff.
they got to make
because-
it better, but it's still the most. Well, I guess the NFL is the most watched, but college football to me is just the greatest fan base ever.
I remember hanging out with 2 of my buddies on a Saturday one time, and they were like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm watching football. Oh, I don't like college football. I like pro football. I was like, "Yeah, you know why you're dumb? Why? Because you don't know any of the players you're drafting until let me watch this guy. I've already watched him for 4 years
Right.
by the time Oh yeah, I guess. And then the 3 of us all went out and watched college football.
There you go.
They're both addicted.
Well, I was telling somebody yesterday, we were talking about all the changes with college football, and I told him, I think my enthusiasm during the season is just as high, if not higher, than it's ever been, because the season was so great. It's just the off season. I used to love, on signing day when I was at school at UGA, a lot of my classes, like, we would watch signing day, on in a lecture hall. So
Sure.
I mean, but it just doesn't matter anymore, because once you get a signing, you just automatically assume that they're going to be gone the next year, most likely. So that's where my enthusiasm has fallen off.
It stinks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as the Super Bowl's over, I'm looking forward to draft day. I think that's the coolest day of the year. All right, well, let's go ahead and get a Brain Train commercial in.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high-pressure situations. Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit braintraincentersinc.com.
And we thank you, Meg and Melissa, for being sponsors of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. We've talked a lot of college football. We're going to move on to the pros. Big news in Atlanta this week. I got a trivia question first, though.
All right, give it to me.
All right. When was the last time two left-handed quarterbacks started on an NFL weekend?
Period?
Yeah.
I couldn't even begin to answer this one.
Steve Young and Michael Vick?
Close. You're half right.
Michael Vick and what's the guy from Jacksonville? Bueller?
Mark Bruner?
Bruner.
No.
Dang it. I'm feeling good about that.
But you get right. The year's 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
So it was Vick.
Yeah.
And Leinart?
Nope. Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow.
The last time two left-handed quarterbacks started was 2012. Tebow and Vick.
That's not saying a lot about the position, folks.
So with that, Michael Penix is the new starter in Atlanta.
You know, I'm excited. I have to come up with a new way to say things because I say things so often in front of this microphone that I'll hang out with a buddy, and every time I start, I always go, "It's like I always say." It's like I need to not be able to say that. But like I've been saying for 14 weeks, he doesn't step into the throw. He has no confidence in his Achilles. Whether his Achilles still is bad or whether he just isn't quite positive on it, he's not stepping into throws. He does not look like the Kirk Cousins of old. And, this is why you drafted a guy.
But he had a couple of really good games against some really tough teams, and it seemed like he's just fallen off. When you 17-7 interceptions, touchdowns to interception, and all of a sudden you're 1-9. There's an issue other than you're not stepping into your throws.
Well, and let me just say this. You know, when you look at Goff's splits, and this is Goff's splits for his entire career. If you blitz him, he's horrible. And if you don't blitz him, he's all pro. Mm-hmm. And so you would think everybody would blitz him. I think when he got the 509 yards passing, he didn't get blitzed that day. You know, when he had this good game, he didn't get blitzed that day either. So we'll see what happens this weekend. I'm very hopeful.
Are we giving up on the playoffs by starting Penix?
Not at all. I think we're actually saying we want him.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. I mean, because if you were giving up on the playoffs, you just keep doing the same old thing and hope it works. But you got to make a change.
Not rush him out there.
Exactly.
So,
and this is a good game to start him
against the Giants.
Against the Giants,
but we're still
like
10-point
favorites.
Game. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's changed since they changed quarterbacks from that.
I don't know either. I'll look it up real quick.
Today
so
when
it's
I was
dropped a
today.
point and a half. Yeah.
But you know, it's funny, and I've gotten that text message from 4 different friends. At least we're playing the Giants. It's like, there's no argument about that.
Yeah.
8.5 currently.
Yeah. So it can't hurt, and we'll see what happens. John Rush went over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, which I don't think will be the last. He's a heck of a running back. There's just too much offensive talent on this team. And again, we have the same problem, and we looked horrible against Raiders on Monday night. And now we're going to play another primetime game. We got
actually, I think we got bumped
into the Washington game.
I think we got bumped by Washington, didn't we?
Flexed.
Yeah, we got flexed into the Sunday night game. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What were we supposed to be?
It was a day game.
It was a day game.
But they moved
the Dolphins, Cleveland was supposed to be the game, but they decided
it's a good move.
They'd rather see the Falcons.
Which would be really good. Be Penix against Daniels.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So make for good TV.
Can't wait to see it.
Me either.
Hopeful.
Yep. So let's hope they do well against the Giants on Sunday, and hopefully Penix comes right in and takes control. That would be great.
And let's just say this, since we won't be able to say anything else for 3 weeks. Even if he looks like an all-pro quarterback, just remember it is the Giants that we're playing against.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Breathe.
There you go. Yeah.
It-
All right. So you mentioned Jared Goff a few minutes ago. What a game he had the other night. What, 300-something yards, 4 touchdowns?
480 yards.
And he loses.
First quarterback ever to have 400 yards passing, 5
4
touchdown
touchdowns.
passes, 0 interceptions, and
And
not win
lose
a
a
game.
game. That's
Him
crazy.
and Joe Burrow can commiserate together. So.
Yeah.
And Joe Burrow, I think he's got like 6
Yeah.
300-yard, 3 touchdown passing games this year that he can't win.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
There's one stat. There's 4 teams in the league that haven't scored 30 points yet. 3 of them are 2-12, and the Chiefs are 13-1, and they hadn't scored 30 points yet.
But
Insane.
they've got that D.
Yeah.
Every game. Seems
Although that's
like
a
they
big
win.
injury.
Yeah, Mahomes, high ankle sprain.
I'll
We'll
believe
see.
it when I see it. That AFC Championship game a few years ago, the Bengals, like that's all we heard about all week was this ankle sprain. They went out there and was, running around doing the same old stuff.
But correct me when I'm wrong, which happens all the time. You'd have a full-time job with that. This looked worse
It did.
than that injury from a few years ago.
It definitely did look worse for sure, and it looks like it's a lot of it's been confirmed by medical. Whereas like the last one was more of a. They think that it was a sprain that's giving him issues. So we'll see, we'll see. But until the Chiefs come out there and lose and he doesn't play a game, I won't believe it till I see it.
Yeah, they haven't said he's not starting. It'll
Correct.
probably be Carson Wentz, and that's who the backup is.
Yeah.
So Wentz will probably play because, I can't say they have it sewed up, but they're 2 games up on the Bills, and 3 on the Steelers now because the Steelers got beat, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yep. So there's a team that turned it around, totally opposite from last year when they blew it out in the first half and lost in the second half. This year they were 2-2, and now they're the hottest team.
They are the hottest team, and I've got a neighbor who's a Phillies guy and Philly guy, and their 2 losses. One of them's that miracle against the Falcons in week 2. This is hypothetically that was the worst loss of their entire franchise history, possibly the best win in our franchise history. So if you take that game away, this is a 14-1 team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. They're good.
They're a good
looking
football team. And, of course, Detroit got hurt with the loss of Montgomery
Huge.
for the year. That's
Yeah.
huge. Larry, he's your running back on your fantasy team, too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Luckily
but
for
since I
him,
got knocked out of the
season's
playoffs,
Your
it
season's
doesn't
over
really
in
matter.
more way than one.
But
yeah.
you look at different two-headed monsters. That was the best two-headed monster the NFL had to
Gibbs.
offer,
Yeah.
and polar opposites. And people always want to have a thunder and lightning, but this technically was. I think it's a huge loss for the Lions, and I don't see the Lions winning the Super Bowl without him.
Yeah.
I agree. And I don't think the Falcons are too far behind them with Algier and Robinson.
I don't either.
Algier
except
is
for
a monster.
And Algier is a monster, but he's no Montgomery, and their offensive coordinator uses both of them way more often. And
That's what so we've got the talent. We don't have the coaching.
Yeah.
there was the game at the beginning of the season. I think it was the Rams, the first game of the year, and Montgomery got like 3 carries in the end of the fourth quarter. It went to overtime, and it was 7 carries. Montgomery went straight down the field, and they can't do that anymore. That was one of the reasons why, in my mind, this is a scary team come December, January, or February.
Yeah.
So
Not
do
so
they?
much.
Yeah. So now they might even have lost their chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Unless they can get somebody out of the portal.
Yeah, the NFL
saying.
portal.
Just saying. Could happen.
Yeah. Is this a bowl game, Mo?
And I think we'll see.
Yeah, this is the bowl game.
I think we'll see in the last game of the season when they play the Vikings. I think in the season finale, I think we'll get a good litmus test then. If we don't have it by then,
Detroit and Minnesota play last game.
to see what they're capable of moving into the playoffs without him.
Well, and I don't even know. I can look this one up while I'm talking. I don't know who the next guy up.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you either.
So for a two running back team,
Yeah.
Are they going to go just Gibbs at this point? Because if they go just Gibbs, so it looks like the new guy is Craig Reynolds. Ooh, everybody excited and still think the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl? Craig Reynolds time.
Yeah.
That'll be tough.
Yeah. So who is? I guess Philadelphia's the cream of the NFC now, right? Probably so.
Them and the Vikings, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, Vikings still look
Vikings
good.
still only have 2 losses on the season.
I tell you, that Darnold's going to get some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love sports when a guy signs a 1-year contract. Sometimes he signs it because that's the only thing anybody's willing to give him. But sometimes it's like, hey, I'll take this and bet on myself. And he took that contract. When he took that contract, J.J. McCarthy was going to be the starter.
Yep.
Boom. Yeah, what's he played himself into? A 6-year, $150 million deal or something?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Well,
It's nice when you step into that kind of scenario, too, with Justin Jefferson as your wide receiver 1.
It could be a lot worse than stepping in with that team.
about every other article I looked at on Instagram today was where's Kirk Cousins going now? Oh, that was crazy.
Absolutely.
They'll have to do something. That's too much money to bear.
Yeah,
Back up.
76 million against the cap if he stays, 38 if he leaves.
Correct.
That's what
Well,
I saw. Yeah.
this year cost 100, so there's 190. So it puts 90. And I realize I'm talking about 90, and I'm trying to figure out how I can tip Sean $4 later. but to the Falcons, hey, we move it on, and there's a lot of teams that would love to try Darnold or Cousins or somebody else,
And they probably will.
and they probably will.
Absolutely. they
Keep
will.
in mind, Penix is on the rookie contract, so the Falcons aren't paying anything for him, basically. For 3 years.
Penix is what allows you to walk away
Right,
from that
exactly.
other huge contract. You couldn't have 2 guys, so yeah, we'll see what happens.
Might be a lot of Falcons fans eating some crow these next few weeks because I remember when they announced the Penix pick, everybody was just, oh, God. It was
And I'm one of those
yeah,
guys.
sure. And it was rightfully done, but yeah.
Correct, because at the end of the day, what are we going into? Week 16?
Yeah.
If you'd have taken somebody different, I could have watched them for the first 15 weeks. So I'm still not sold on it, but
And my
Yeah.
contention was I was always happy with either, but not both.
Right.
So
Correct.
I'll never understand that.
Correct.
But we'll see what happens coming up Sunday against the Giants. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So AFC, Buffalo's now the cream of the crop.
and nobody wants to play them. That's for darn certain.
I still think I might give my edge to Kansas City a little bit, and I think it's mostly just because of their defensive capabilities. So but they've got the defense this year and the Bills, to be honest, like the defense is probably their weak spot. So
Houston really hasn't done anything in a while to make me excited.
They've won the
just-
conference, but they're
they're
nothing.
they're there. Yeah.
The scary one that's looming out there is the Ravens, because nobody wants to talk about the Ravens. They got 5 losses, but when those people line up, they can put 40 on you.
Well, let's just remember Kansas City went on the road and beat Buffalo and Baltimore last year to get back to the Super Bowl.
Correct,
They're
but-
both. One of them is going to have to go to Kansas City this year, more than likely.
Correct, but those teams change just a little bit each year. And, back with Mahomes' first injury, they had a much deeper team. Tyreek,
Oh gosh, yeah. Yes.
they had
Not
they had
even-
all sorts of
absolutely.
players.
Yeah. Hey, the Bengals have a path to the
That's
to
your team,
playoffs
isn't
as
it?
well. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So nobody. Hey, listen. I know that their record's not great, but
Are they five?
nobody would
6 and 8.
6 and 8.
Nobody want to play them though because their offense can hang with anybody, but their defense can't stop nobody.
Oh no, but you're dead on,
Yeah.
and that's what it comes down to with these games. So right now, they're 6 and 8. They're in 10th spot,
Yeah.
2 games behind the Chargers for the last spot.
And the Falcons are on the outside looking in because Bucks don't have anybody left to play. I think they play the Saints, they play the Panthers, and I can't remember who the other team is. And the Falcons got Panthers and the Giants and the Commanders.
Yeah.
So we're going to have
2
to.
winnable games there to end the
Yeah,
season to
but-
get back in there.
But we just have to tie them.
Yeah, we just have time because we beat them twice head to head. But who do the Bucks have left?
They've got to lose a game, and
Yeah.
I'll see
We
it
got
happen.
we have to go undefeated if they only lose 1 game, and then do the math down from there.
Yeah.
They have at Dallas
Yeah.
versus Carolina
Yeah.
versus the Saints.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go
I like
ahead
the
and
Bucks' chances.
Tip the maitre d' who came up with that schedule.
I like the Bucks' chances.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, especially with Kamara's possibly hurt. Mm-hmm. So
Alvin Kamara's hurt. Wow. All right. Well, let's get our American Axis commercial done, and we'll talk some picks for the NFL.
Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access in their 3.5 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, in the uber cool new mobile axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, including some Falcons games. I guess just probably one Falcon game left.
Tonight or this weekend.
Look us up at American Access or give us a call at 678-763-3635.
How can you reach Dan Fisher?
You can call him at 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
Thank you, Dan, for being the sponsor this year of the Three Guys Who Love Sports as we wound up our last segment for the year. Just a reminder, we will be gone the next 2 weeks, the 25th and the 1st, and we'll be back on January the 8th to catch up on a lot of sports because there will be a lot be going down over the next 3 weeks.
So January 8th, wow, that just seems so far into the future.
Doesn't it?
So the NFL regular season will be over. So
We'll be starting the playoffs.
So we'll be starting the playoffs. All of the original bowl games will have happened, so we'll be down to the Final Four
down to
for
four.
that.
The semifinals.
I think the Orange Bowl will be on the Thursday and Cotton's on the Friday after that.
After the 9th and the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
But I hope we have a good guest that day to catch up on. So that'll be fun.
Even if we don't have a good guest, we're
If
just
we
going to
don't
be able to
have
talk
anybody,
about
we'll be
3
talking
weeks.
about it.
Yeah, talk about
there you go. All right, so let's look at the picks we've got for this week. First pick is Denver +3 at L.A. Denver's a hot team.
Denver is a hot
they're
team.
like number 2 in point differential in the AFC. I saw.
Plus 89. They're 19 points better than Kansas City, and they have a 1-game lead over the Chargers for second place in that division. So
Yeah, who I picked
it's
for
a big
second
game.
place. Yeah, it's a big game. I'm going to take the Chargers. The Broncos.
Do you remember who do you want us to give you one more opportunity to
No,
say
Broncos.
any name you want?
Broncos. I was
I'm also
looking
on
at the
the
Chargers,
Broncos.
but I want the Broncos. Yeah.
Yep, and I'm on the Broncos +3 as well.
Well, just because of that, I will go Chargers. Although I we thought it was a over and done a few weeks ago that our quarterback, Mr. Daniels, had to be Rookie of the Year, and I still think if you're a franchise, this is the direction you want to go.
Right.
But Bo Nix,
is-
he's had a great year.
Yeah.
He's had a great year.
Yeah.
Gotta
And
give it
really
to him.
has.
This is the team we should have had beat Tampa Bay, and they didn't. Tampa Bay took them to the cleaners on Sunday.
Yep.
So that hurt us more than the next 3 weeks. So we lost to the Chargers, and Tampa Bay beat them, and that might come down to what's keeping us out of the playoffs. Second game, the aforementioned Houston, who've already wrapped up their division, they're a 1.5 point favorite at Kansas City. This has to be because of the Mahomes injury.
Yeah.
Well, but if this is who do we say, Mr. North Dakota?
No, Carson Wentz.
If this is Carson Wentz, do you think that line's staying there?
Yeah.
And I think if Carson Wentz starts this game, this is a 3-point Texans are favored by 3. I'll take the Texans just with the idea if Mahomes is out there, they're going to blitz.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink, and if they could get away with the kitchen sink, they'll probably throw that at them as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I don't think they lose at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna with us not knowing what Pat Mahomes is going to do or how healthy he's going to be. I'm also going to take Houston as well.
All right, good. We're not all on the same team. I like that.
It's crazy. It's interesting that the Houston already has it wrapped up.
They don't have as much to play for, and Kansas City still wants to get the home field advantage.
Correct. So Kansas City and Buffalo are so far ahead of everybody else that really the only thing Houston has is to try to get the 3 seed from Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. So you start to wonder how motivated they will be to play. I think they'll be motivated if Mahomes is a little gimpy or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got Pittsburgh +6 at Baltimore. And these are Thursday, Friday games, I think, aren't they? Or they're
Some of
both
these
Saturday games. I think
they're Saturday.
Denver and LA is Thursday.
Which is
and the other two are Saturday.
And that's so shocking to me, kind of a sidebar, that they're putting that the NFL is putting these games on Saturday with the college football playoff going on too.
Is that
I was,
the dumbest thing?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by
But
that.
they always do.
I know they do,
Correct,
but I
but
figured
there's never been a playoff
Yeah.
in
There's been a college playoff.
football.
There've been bowl
Yeah.
games.
Right.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
And they are, it'd be one thing if they threw you Cardinals Giants or something like that.
Yeah, but they're putting good games.
They're going blockbusters
Yeah,
on
they're
you.
like
so-
it's like they're trying to compete with college football. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh +6 here. I think George Pickens is going to be back. And
Oh, here we go with the dogs.
yeah. Hey, listen, he's their best guy, and that defense. Listen, Pittsburgh, they keep every game close. They don't win every game, but they keep every game close. And with a defense like that, it's very rarely that they're going to lose by more than one score. So
Mike Tomlin, another great coach. I mean, still no losing seasons up in Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he loses the rest of his games this year, he's already
good.
already managed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll take the Ravens at home. Ravens are it's kind of like messing with the quiet kid. Don't ever pick a fight with the quiet kid. This is a drunk guy in the street who just got dumped by his girlfriend. There's no telling what the Ravens might do.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Baltimore as well. I've been taking Pittsburgh, and they've kind of let me down the last. I know they did last week. I had them against Philly, and that didn't come out very well. Baltimore at home, unless they're playing Kansas City, I'll take the Ravens at home. And they've lost some home games this year. Denver came in there and beat them, and somebody else did too. But Oakland, I think, or Vegas. But I'll take Baltimore at home this weekend. Philadelphia -3.5 at Washington.
Fun game.
Interesting game. Yeah.
I'll take the Eagles, but man, I'm going to be rooting for the Commanders. If nothing else, I think this is another one of those games where he's got a chance to win it with a minute left. Jaden Daniels. I think Eagles are up with a minute or two left, and all of a sudden, what's the rookie got in his tank? And based on all the other reports, it could be enough.
Yeah.
Be fun.
I'm going to take Washington plus the points. Philly by a field goal, but I'm going to take that hook.
Take the hook.
That hook is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I've got the Eagles in this one with -3.5, so I'll lay the points with them.
Well, this is cool. We still haven't picked one the same. Yeah.
Well, I can assure you, we're never going to take. We're all going to take this the same way because there's the wrong thing with plus and minus. I'll take the Falcons +10.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I got that wrong, didn't I? Oh, or Larry got it wrong. I don't know.
Hey,
One of us got it
I know
wrong.
it's a rookie quarterback, but give me 10 points. I want to.
Let's make that New York +10 and see how we pick.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
I'm not as sold on that one.
When you sent the agenda, I was like,
You
"Good God,
got
how
it
much
wrong,
is?"
Chuck.
Did I have it wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. My bad.
I was like, "How much does Vegas love Kirk Cousins?" I didn't know it was that much.
It's Chuck with a typo.
It was Giants by 10. Now it's Falcons by 8.5.
Yeah.
Wow. It's the craziest spread over a 3 days.
Everybody opted out.
I'm going to take the Giants.
Hey, you enjoy Tommy Cutlets there, Sizzle Chest. Yeah, Tommy Cutlets. So Mr. Tommy DeVito. That's what they call him, Tommy Cutlets.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not going with Tommy Cutlets. Give me that Falcon rookie. Run. This Giants team cannot win this game if we call the right plays. We can't win this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's some
I think Falcons win. But
there's some unpredictability. I do think that the Falcons will win, but it's too big of a spread for me to pick. So I've got the Giants with points.
It'd be interesting to know when the last time the Falcons were a double-digit favorite.
Yeah, no kidding.
Probably at least 8-9 years.
Probably the Super Bowl year.
Correct.
Whatever year that
16.
was. Yeah, 16. Is that when it was? Yeah. God, I can't believe it's been that long ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah. Well, we got a few minutes left. What do we want to talk about?
There's so many things to talk about. How do you like MVP? Everybody feeling good about Mr. Allen right now? Saquon and Mr. Allen, if there's two people getting invited?
Yeah, I think it's Josh Allen. And as a Bengals fan, it kills me, though, knowing that if our record was just a little bit better, that Burrow would definitely
might
be
be
in
there.
that conversation as well. So,
absolutely.
But you can't have an MVP on a team that has a losing record.
Is there anybody else out there?
Any not huge.
Yeah.
Not, I mean, technically Chase.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase is breaking a few things
Records.
this year. What is it? Rushing.
His offensive numbers are insane this year for the
Jamar-
Bengals.
He's
Jamar
number
has-
one in receptions, number one in touchdowns, number one in yards.
Yeah.
Right?
But he's got 1,400 receiving yards. It's just crazy. He's got over 400 yards more than third place.
And it's very hard to believe that the Cincinnati's not better with the numbers Burrows are having and the numbers Chase is having.
It'll be interesting to see, too, some Bengals knowledge for you. The T. Higgins just signed a new agent, and it's the same agent as Jamar Chase, and both of those are going into big signing windows in this offseason. So
Which is a horrible thing.
Yes.
I would think that that's a bad move for T.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I'm hopeful, but at this point, if we keep one of, if we get one of them, I'll be happy.
I did see after the game this week. Who did they play? The Titans.
The Titans, yeah.
And he walked up to Boyd. Did you see that?
Yeah.
He's walking across the field, and Boyd's talking to somebody, and Burrow just comes up and gives him a shove. Where people are like, hey, that's his old boy.
Yeah.
He's just messing with him. But
Yeah.
It was funny.
Boyd, the receiver.
Yeah,
used
Tyler
to be
Boyd,
there.
yeah.
Correct.
Pittsburgh grad, right?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Tyler
Yeah.
was
He was a
Pittsburgh.
Panther.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, who do you like in the Super Bowl, Dylan?
Oof, I don't know. I mean, I would have told you coming in here. It was still, I think when I was on here last time, it was Detroit and Buffalo, and I'd still love to pick that. But
Oh, did
definitely,
we ask you that then?
Yeah, still not as. I definitely don't have as much confidence in the Lions as I did though. But like I said, I'll hold out judgment though because there's still a lot of talent on that offense that can still put up a lot of numbers on a defense. So we'll see what that. how
So
they
as
look
much
the
as
next
you're
few weeks.
taking Kansas City this weekend, you think Buffalo's still the better team in the
I do,
NFC?
yeah, I do think Buffalo could. I do think Buffalo could take Kansas City this year.
Yeah.
Who you got right now?
I'm still going with Green Bay and Houston because that's who I picked the first of the year, and I'm going to stick with my guns.
My God, the water level's coming up. Katrina's coming ashore, but he's not wavering, my friends. He's not wavering.
If I'm right, I'm right, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I
So
mean,
there you go.
right now with injuries and everything else, I'm a Buffalo guy anyway. But yeah, Eagles Buffalo looks like something
I'd love
that
to
could
see
happen.
that game. Yeah.
Looks like something that could happen.
But I just stick to my guns.
And
If
as
I
much
make
as
a
I-
prediction, I'll stick with it.
And as much as I love what the Vikings are doing this year, for some reason I can't see them. I can't see them winning that many playoff games, and I don't know what's holding me back from feeling more comfortable.
Because you've never seen a season where Sam
guess.
Darnold looked good.
Okay. But they just keep winning, so we'll see.
Yeah. How about the national championship? Don't say the Dogs. They're not going to win it.
Listen, Georgia may not be the best team in the country, but they are dang sure the toughest team in the country, and I think that counts for a lot at this point.
They do have the easiest path.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after the schedule that they've had, you're not going to get.
I think
you're not-
Penn State's a little easier, but Penn State has to play an extra game. So yes.
Yeah, correct. But that's what everyone's talking about. It's like, oh, Oregon got the harder path, but I was like, but Georgia had the harder path to get to where they are than Oregon did. So you're not going to get any sympathy from me out of that.
But you know how funny is it at the end of the day? I came on this show 7 weeks ago, and everybody's like, Georgia's not even in.
Yeah, we're in the first
They're
team
not
out.
going out. You're not. They're a 2 seed.
Yeah.
When the SEC beats up on each other, you just have to. And it can be different. There could be a year where the Big Ten beats up on each other.
Yeah.
It's not statistically what normally happens there, but when it does happen, you just kind of I think there's a few games out there, college games. You were talking earlier about some fun games. Miami's got a fun game. Hurricanes are playing
Iowa State in the Pop-Tart Bowl. That's the most fun bowl game of any of them for sure too. They do such a
Pop-Tart.
good job.
Since they don't do the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl anymore, where they do
Lord.
dump mayonnaise all over everybody.
But I saw the trophy this year. It's like it's a football, but it has an actual working toaster in the football. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And the mascot is like an actual Pop-Tart that can be eaten. So they do a good job of it. But those are two
That's
teams
good marketing.
Those are two teams that had direct play-in games to the college football playoff and fell short. So you got to think that neither one of those teams is going to be too motivated to be
Miami
there.
and who?
Iowa State.
Iowa State. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Texas A&M USC will be a decent game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other one that is a little whatever, and it's kind of weird because I think they used to play each other all the time, would be Colorado and BYU.
Yeah.
But, here's BYU on this Cinderella season, and they're getting ready to end it by getting pummeled by the Buffaloes.
Did you take Buffalo? I have to go back and look at my picks and see who all I took.
Yeah, I definitely didn't take BYU, man. They've just been sliding down that escalator. Oh, I did see a funny stat the other day. Let's see if I can find it. So many screenshots.
Look at all that.
There's so many things on here.
But to answer your question, I'll take Georgia and Texas for round 3 in Atlanta.
What a scary thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a scarier matchup for the Dogs.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I mean, because you've already beat them twice.
Yeah.
No matter even when Kirby tells you to focus, I know, Coach, but I already beat this dude twice, man.
Yeah.
You know I'm going to knock him out, Coach.
At least the second one almost, put the fear of God into him, hopefully. So this, but it's all going to depend on how Gunnar, because I know everyone's really excited because that second half performance that Gunnar had, but we also didn't have to see him go vertical with the ball at all either. So we will, I'll hold my judgment until I see him in action in New Orleans.
And I think the Gunnar aspect actually helps Georgia. Because when you know Gunner's your quarterback, I think the rest of the team gels around him. I think the play calling gets a little tighter, a little more run, a little more tight end action boot, tight end boots. I think it helps Georgia. I just don't want to see Texas 3 times. That is a scary thing for anybody.
Okay, the last thing I want to do this year is wrap up talking about Georgia, but I guess that's what we wound up doing.
There we are, brother. So who do you like right now still?
Oregon.
And?
Oh, I had them against Alabama. Who's in the other bracket with Georgia?
Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame.
State. I'll take Penn State.
You think James Franklin's going to you think he's going to win a big game and beat
Georgia? If I
Georgia?
have to pick them over Georgia, yes.
You are blinded. You're so blinded by hatred.
Exactly. All right, guys. So know your numbers out there. Cover your ass. Get your prostate checked. Dylan, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
From me and Dylan and Larry and Robert, to all of you, Merry Christmas and have a safe and Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2025. Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo!
One last hooty hoo for this 2024 year. My name's Chuck Burge with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kenny. Robert, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's last hooty hoo inside. These guys will be hooting and hooing.
Right up till New Year's Eve.
Right up until.
Right up there. We got ball games and stuff to deal with.
Absolutely.
Lichtenstein Larry is joining us behind the board today, and as always,
The master of the cut.
master of the cut.
He's on the board.
He's kind of like DJ Mixmaster,
He
but
is. He's
the
my man,
show.
Larry.
Larry. There you go. All right, let's get the commercial out of the way, Mr. Ron Smith, and we'll get into some owl stuff.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take this final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you, so please contact our friend Ron and his team tomorrow at 440-561-0758.
I missed that number. What was it?
440-561-0758.
And thank you, Ron Smith, for being the sponsor of the Owls Show here at Miller's Ale House every Wednesday night. Starting to cool off a little bit outside. Very warm for a December day. 71 here in.
I'm okay with that. It's this weekend. I don't have a lot of good things to say about.
See, if it's Christmas, I want it to be cold. I want it to be cold at Christmas, not 70 degrees, not 80 degrees. I want it to be 15 with 3 feet of snow on the ground.
And there is my caveat. I'm okay with cold. Just give me something to show for it. And we're not going to have anything to show for it. We're just going to be miserably cold, and that's what I'm not good with.
I'm okay with that. I understand. Yeah, I'd rather it be cold than 80. When I was married, I used to spend Christmas Day in Hollywood, Florida, when it was 85 and sunny, and nothing was more miserable to me than spending Christmas Day in 85-degree weather.
If I'm lucky enough to have a 65 on Christmas morning, I'll crawl over onto your roof and throw snow off the top so you can just, think it's a winter wonderland and, you'll be happy.
Or a wonderland. Either one of those.
Either one.
Yeah. All right. So we had two great guests on last week, Callie and Annalise, and we thought this week that we would bring on our three biggest fans and three of the greatest friends we have on this show and talk about the year in review at KSU. I think that's pretty high. So our first friend on the docket today is Mr. Garrett Brackett. Everybody put your hands together for Garrett. That crowd is just screaming like crazy out there.
And that's just Will.
That's just Will. I said screaming, not acting like crazy.
Oh, yeah, then it wasn't Will.
How are you, Garrett?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you guys as well.
Yeah.
Staying around?
Maybe. There's been developments recently, so.
And what state would that development be?
Oh no, it would still be
It's
Georgia.
still local,
It
okay.
would just be down south Georgia, not too far, about an hour and a half.
What part?
At least you're going to the right.
Peachtree City.
Oh, yeah.
That area.
Take your golf cart.
Golf cart city.
Golf
yeah.
cart, yeah, right. I'll drive down in my golf cart on 75. That would be great.
No problem.
No,
That would
not
be a
at all.
fun little ride. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun, all right.
Yeah. So talk about the year in review for KSU. What is your best memory or favorite memory of the year 2024?
You called me and you asked me to prepare for this, but I didn't. I'm just gonna wing it.
That's okay
That's the
because
best
you
way
go
to
to
do
a
a
lot
show.
of things. You winging it is still right on schedule.
There's two. I'm sorry, there's just two. One is definitely the Liberty football game.
Oh, yeah.
Rushing that field.
Twice.
I got pictures of me and you.
Yeah, that was absolutely unexpected, but I was happy to be there and happy to be a part of that.
Wasn't it wild what happened to Liberty after that game? Because they were undefeated, one of 11 teams at the time, and they just went all downhill from there.
Because when that game happened, we were actually thinking they were probably third behind Boise State.
Right.
It was like Boise State, Army, maybe James Madison, and Liberty. Liberty's got a shot at the... No.
No, not after that.
We put an end to that crap. So yeah, it was an interesting football year, to say the least.
Right.
And what was your number two thing?
Rutgers basketball.
Yeah. So both of them fairly recently.
Right. So Well, I mean, I'm old. I can only remember so far back anyway. But
You already had dinner tonight. It's okay.
I did. Okay. Guys, I'm glad you said that because I'll probably go out and eat again. But the biggest part of that game was Kennesaw State has always been about relationships. To me, I've formed a lot of great relationships here with the folks I tailgate with. Yeah, you too. That's all right, Chuck. With the people I tailgate with and everybody in the community of Kennesaw State. But one of the things that really got me was when Coach Petway, when he was talking to the guys, he says, this is about love. Loving each other, going out, giving it your best shot, and showing how much you love each other by doing that. And that speaks volumes to what Kennesaw State is all about.
And Rutgers was number 24 in the country at the time.
Right. And that showed itself. And I honestly think that, well, we're going to get to the future, aren't we? And I think for the future.
No, we don't talk about.
We don't have time for that.
No,
okay.
I was kidding. We will. Yeah.
So I'll hold back. I won't.
Don't worry, Marley. You're going to be past, present, and future.
All right. So there's that.
All right. So yeah, it was a good year. Any other sport things that came, like the girls' golf team?
Girls'
Won the
golf
ASUN
team was
championship.
phenomenal. The
track team was phenomenal.
Both won, men's and women's.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to come by. It's been a very successful year, and we were all waiting for that July 1st moment when we became big boys. But as you said, we got a huge win. I can only imagine. I always laugh at schools like. We'll say Jack State or Troy or even App State, where big teams, hey, come on in, and you watch the little guy come to play, and you go, okay, we might not invite him back anymore. How difficult do you think it's going to be for us to get another top 25 team to come over here?
The basketball team,
absolutely.
Yeah.
They don't want to come here and see this.
Right. Volleyball made semifinals this year in spite of all of the injuries that they had.
And all the seniors that they lost too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they did an amazing job this year under duress.
And as a side note on volleyball, we had 3 girls named Academic All-District,
Right.
Manu, Leah Freeman, and Coco Brown.
All guests on this show.
Every time you come on the show.
Every time you come on
There's
the
something
Owl
to be
show,
said about
something
coming on
good's
this show.
happening.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You won the lottery, didn't you? After you came
No,
on?
I'm still waiting.
Okay.
I'm still waiting. For
It's coming. It's coming.
That would be nice, winning the lottery.
It would.
You talked about the future. What are you looking excited to about 2025?
I'm really excited for 3 things immediately up and coming, maybe 4. 4. Baseball, I think, is going to look amazing this year. Basketball for men's and women's is both looking very promising for conference play. I watched the women's game the other night. Mm-hmm. Oh, I was so tired. I hate West Coast games, but they're doing good. And they're playing again tonight, I think, at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock Santa Clara?
Yep.
Is that right?
I think
Yes,
so.
that's correct.
Over on the left coast.
Yeah.
So I think it's very promising. The other thing is the
One of the
new
other things.
football coach is making some inroads with a lot of things.
Mac Daddy.
Oh yeah, it's looking really good. I'm excited. I'm excited about where the program's going to go from here.
We signed our first player today, didn't we?
Out of the portal?
Yeah. It wasn't a portal. It was somebody that signed, wasn't it, Carrick? It was a portal?
Yeah, but he wasn't our first.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
Dexter Williams the second?
That was the quarterback.
yeah, Dex Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Came from where?
Southern?
Georgia Southern?
Yep. Indiana. Georgia
Hey,
Southern.
hey,
Indiana.
hey.
Just in case you all didn't hear that, Carrick said he wised up. So
Hey,
because he'll get his chance later to say it again, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he will.
And he'll take full opportunity
Yes,
for
he
that.
will.
I don't
Yes,
blame
he
him.
will.
I don't blame him on that one. No, it's been
I
an
can't
exciting
get a
year.
break.
And,
Nope.
the one thing that I keep getting excited about with the football coach, Garrett, it's something we all think, man, we're just a player or 2 away. I've been talking about, Conference USA, is going to get us a a basketball player. You know, we're going to get a 6'8" or 6'9" swing guy out of Memphis that normally would have gone somewhere else. But, you know, the new football coach talking about why are we're not a secret.
Right.
You know, why not now? And I think this guy might just bring a player or two in that changes this course, you know, drastically,
right.
quickly, so quickly. All of a sudden, there's a running back who eats nails for breakfast. You know, good luck with that one, Western Kentucky.
Right.
Yeah, you talked about the fifth string guy on Tennessee being
Correct.
first string guy here.
Correct. If the fifth string running back at Tennessee, where our coach has a lot of contacts, who probably never got a carry there, if he was to come to KSU, he would probably be the best athlete we've ever had in any sport, and it could show on game one. You know that first day he could be like,
Other than maybe Callie and Daniel.
well, you know,
They're pretty good athletes.
you know, we like Olympians,
Yeah.
but no, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
It could change quickly. What do you think? Do you think there's a how optimistic are you about the new additions for football? And
super excited.
and thinking next year could be a lot of fun.
I think next year's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you going to go?
I'm excited already, and it's.
Are you
it's
going
months
to
away.
either of the first two games?
They're away games, correct?
Correct.
Wake Forest and Indiana.
Wake
No,
Forest and
probably
Indiana.
Not. Probably not.
I think Will and I are going up to Wake Forest. I'd love to go to Wake. It's a beautiful
How
campus.
far away is that?
About 5.5 hours.
I
It's not
might
bad.
go to that one.
Yeah.
I might go to that.
Well,
Road trip.
and it's very difficult depending on who you are because it's back-to-back weeks. Unless you leave from Wake Forest and just drive
Straight
to
to
Bloomington
Bloomington.
because you have no job or no life. Outside of our flag bearer, you know, not everybody can do that. But you know, we expect certain people to be in both
It all
buildings.
depends on who you're traveling with, too. You know, I mean, it can be fun.
What's happening to your neck?
You got
I don't
something
know, I
wrong, you
got
got something
kink in
wrong
my
with your
neck.
neck there, buddy?
I'm
Hey, Kevin,
excited.
come over and hang
I'm
with us.
excited.
That'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be neat. It'll be here before you know it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, football rolls around, and right after the Super Bowl, the first thing you look forward to is when's the first college football game.
Right.
Yeah.
When does the portal close? I'm just wondering how many weeks we get to.
I don't think it's open very long in
I don't think it
December.
is either.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of weeks. Carrick, you know how long the portal's open in December? It's 2 weeks, isn't it?
I believe so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Robert's checking into that, but I think it's only open for a couple of weeks. Crazy stuff going on. The Liberty quarterback, you see where he went?
No.
Colorado.
He's with Dion now.
He went to
Wow.
Dion. Yeah. Salter, isn't that his name?
That is correct.
Yeah,
That happened today.
yeah.
Yeah, I did see. I can't remember who it was, but one of the teams in Conference USA, their head coach quit. Wasn't that Jacksonville?
Oh, no, he went back to West Virginia.
Went back to West Virginia.
Rich Rodriguez.
After what? 7 years? 7 years?
Been
so?
there a while, yeah. Well, he coached at West Virginia before.
Right.
And
He's
then
going
went to
back.
Texas, and
Right.
then he went to Jack State. Or
So what does that mean for Jacksonville State?
Jacksonville State is desperately looking for something, and you know the problem is wow, man, they really had, you know, people overused expression, diamond in a rough. You know, they got Rich Rod at. The next guy's not going to be a Rich Rod.
Right.
You know, they're not getting a former Oregon coach or anything else. So it'll be interesting, but that benefits the Owls, right?
Right. That's why I was looking at it. In that,
Sure.
in that perspective, it's going to be great for us.
As far as the portal opened on December 9th and it closes on December 28th. And then the spring portal opens from Wednesday, April 16th to Friday, April 25th. So you only got 9 or 10 days.
So that one I'm very happy with. This December portal, I just think
This is bad.
Is bad. I mean, people
agree.
opting out of bowl games, either play for the playoffs. There are kids that are transferring from Alabama to Michigan. I saw, and they basically make the decision: I want to make the money in Michigan, or I want to play for the playoffs. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I just don't get it. I hate Tech losing their wide receiver, number one receiver in the portal. And I know he visited that cesspool up in Athens, and I hope he really hope he doesn't go there.
You know, it'd be interesting if we could just like have like general people watch the show who don't know anything about the show. Listen to Chuck for an hour and tell me, what does Chuck dislike more than anything else?
Chuck just hates losing people
Says
from Georgia Tech. It has
full
nothing to do with the
of
portal.
Well, but how about Louisiana Tech getting the nod this week?
Yeah.
Marshall, everybody went to the portal, and so Army had nobody to play, and so La Tech stepped up.
So we'll play them.
So you have a 5-win La Tech, but it's our 5th Conference USA team. You know,
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, it is.
I would have never guessed that we'd have had 5 bowl teams. Technically, it was kind of 4, and then it became a
Sure,
5th, but so
sure.
be it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Same thing happened to Murray State basketball a few years ago.
I do remember that.
When their coach quit, they had one player left on their roster.
Which is different because there's only like 12 guys on a
Yeah, but
basketball team.
college-
When 50 guys leave your
It's
phone.
almost like another plane crash. I mean, everybody left.
But look at what Dion.
that's-
Look at what
Please.
Dion did in Colorado.
You're getting canceled.
He flipped his whole team
Yeah,
2 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But
He came in.
Well,
But
even
you know, Dion's got that.
even Dabo Swinney went to the portal. I heard.
No, never.
Yeah, he said. I read an article today.
yeah,
said he got
he's
somebody out of the
looking at
portal.
it now.
Then they've just got their very first player in the last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
You know
Well,
what you're
yeah,
getting
you
for
have to.
Christmas, right?
it's the same thing I get every year. Nothing.
No, you're going to get a DVD. It's going to
por-
be We Are Marshall.
Oh yeah, great
After
movie.
that comment,
That's
yeah.
a great movie.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that movie. Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody left. Yeah, I'm a big fan of college football. We talked about it a lot on the first show. That it's just going in a bad direction, and they need to get everything straightened out, including our house. And we're moving forward, and we need to do something about this NIL and transfer portal. It's just ridiculous. Too many people leaving. Beach Boys could not write "Be true to your school" anymore because nobody is. Everybody's true to their dollar.
Well, and you know, I completely agree that something has to change quickly. But you know, we've been telling these kids for years and years that they have to deal with what we set up, and then the coaches jump ship on them. It's crazy. Something's going to have to. I did look it up. Tristan Smith is the new wide receiver at Clemson. So they've used the portal and got
One
this
time.
one guy. Well, you got to use it. There's no way that you're going to be effective without using it in the
Yeah.
future.
All right. Well, let's get a couple of commercials in. First, Kennesaw Express Loop. There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Loop or Lost Mountain Express Loop. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business, and you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced and knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100,000 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol products.
Look at Garrett
Bam.
jumping in. Bam!
I learned from the best.
Garrett is not just a pretty face on camera, folks.
Not anymore.
And you had a good experience at Ryan's place today, didn't you?
I did. Well, a couple days ago, you know, it's funny. We talked about a great experience that happened when Carrick's wife ended up at Brian's place. My wife ended up at Brian's place this week. She was told she needed a solenoid, and when he plugged into the car to get all of the what do we call that? The
Diagnostics?
the diagnostic numbers to see what the computer was saying. He said, "Hey, I think an oil change might fix all of your problems." And sure enough, so instead of my wife buying a solenoid and being without a car for 2 days, an oil change did it. And thank you, Brian Bristow, or she'd have probably got a solenoid change somewhere that she didn't need.
There you go.
He's the man. Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremating.
Is Ron getting 2 commercials tonight?
I don't know, is he?
Yeah, he just did.
Well, then let's talk about another.
That sounded familiar. I thought maybe I had a stroke, you know, but
It could happen. Let's talk about another Smith we know. Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law, while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile, and personal injury law. And he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
What's that number?
That's right, 706-217-2095.
And we thank you, Joshua and Tammy, for being sponsors of the Al Show. Also with Ron.
Yeah,
again.
we like Ron too.
We double down on Ron tonight.
You don't even have to pay for half of that.
Look at you,
You're
Ron.
good.
That's all right. Well, Garrett, we want to thank you for being a steadfast fan and friend on the show. And we're going to bring Carrick Martin in and see what we can learn from him.
Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, we had an interesting week,
Hey, Larry, see if you can give me some more club soda. Thank you.
Club soda,
Yeah.
you party animal.
What are you talking about? Interesting week?
Well, I'm making sure we're not just dead air here.
Oh, okay.
We beat Seattle. Hey, how about that?
Who beat Seattle?
The women's team.
basketball
Oh, women's basketball team.
by 20-something points.
Yes, sir. 23.
Wow. Yeah.
And we got Mercer coming in at the end of the year. I know you got that game circled.
Yeah,
So what's this nonsense you were talking about Georgia Southern a while ago?
that guy wised up, didn't he? Coming to a good school.
Go Eagles, but go Owls. Yeah.
I got
best
to tell
of
you,
both worlds.
I heard a story today
geez.
in the political world that Georgia Speaker of the House, John Burns, nice guy, lives in a town outside of Statesboro, Newington, and his wife, Miss Dale, grandmotherly, had an accident, and the Chevy dealer had to order a harness from somewhere they didn't have in stock.
joke is coming.
No, this is funny.
Oh, okay.
This is funny. So Miss Dale was driving a loaner car from the Chevrolet dealership for several days and was driving on the Georgia Southern campus, and the Georgia Southern police officer pulled her over and accused her of driving a stolen car. Speaker of the House, remember, is his wife. Couldn't get the speaker on the phone, got the speaker's security guy who was yelling and screaming at the Georgia Southern police person.
Let his wife go.
Yeah. And but anyway, I just thought that was funny. I communicated with our government relations at KSU, said let's give them a get out of jail free card from KSU. So,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah.
But, you know, it goes to show you, you think about, my life's pretty, anything can happen. And,
Yes.
wife gets in an accident, has a loaner car. Hey, did you steal
Yeah.
this car? What? Could
Yeah.
you imagine Grace getting pulled over?
No. No. That's why
think-
she should have the get out of jail free card from the Kennesaw State Police.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yes.
So, Garrett, Carrick, let's talk about your favorite moments of KSU sports for the year 2024.
Well, I've got 3. 2 of them will be not surprising, but were very exciting, and one will be surprising to you. Beating Liberty, not surprising. Beating Rutgers
That was
number
Garrett's.
2.
That was Garrett's.
Yeah, so those are great. I think the third biggest moment was Kennesaw State signing a contract with Student Athlete Name, Image, and Likeness Company to manage the Name, Image, and Likeness program going forward. I think that puts us in the big leagues. We can take money from sponsorships that KSU has now, and that'll be hundreds of thousands of dollars a year that can be spent
On NIL.
on NIL.
So it's kind of
Getting
a split, isn't it?
Yes. So it's a great thing. I think that's been far overlooked in the impact it'll have for us in the future.
That's awesome. Do you know the company?
SANIL, Student Athlete Name, Image, and Likeness. That's the name of it.
SANIL.
Yeah, SANIL,
Okay.
which stands for Student,
Student
Athlete Name, Image, and Likeness.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
very
cool.
creative, isn't
Where are
it?
they out of?
Very creative.
Atlanta.
Oh, out of Atlanta.
Yeah, and they manage the NIL process for 53 schools, so they're pretty
Are
accomplished.
they part of MIG, or is that
No.
something, just a new company?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
I
you
didn't
know,
if-
go ahead, Chuck.
I didn't know if it was somebody like Pat Battle's company that sold out or whatever.
No,
And
it's-
grew into this.
No, it's they started it.
It's an exciting thing because they do have the 53 other schools, because obviously with us being further down the list as far as volume of money, different
this point in
players, and
time.
at this point in time. Correct. Well, in a few years we'll have our own experts on the subject, but being able to have a group that goes, hey, this kind of reminds me of what happened at this school. This is
Yes.
how we should handle that. That sounds really nice.
And they're good at sharing data from other schools, such as how much a starting quarterback in Conference USA gets with the low and what's the high.
Well,
So-
do you know what that price is as of today? Because there was a big move today.
I don't know what it was today, but previously, a couple months ago, it was reported that the lowest paid starting quarterback was $12,000, and the highest.
Is
paid
that a
one-
month?
No, that was a year,
That's a year, okay.
and the highest was $63,000.
And that's for
Conference
Conference
USA.
USA.
Yes,
So did you see the big news on
the Liberty guy leaving.
Salter
Yes, I
going
saw
to
that.
Colorado.
It
to Colorado?
hurts my feelings.
No, it doesn't. You're a liar. But I'm wondering what he got.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big chunk of change.
Well, the two guys from Rutgers when they played here, Ace Bailey and Dylan Hudson, they were supposed to be getting $1.6 million each.
Yeah.
And, that's a tremendous number. So
That's freshman basketball, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's not a senior leadership that you're
Yeah.
adding to the roster.
Yeah.
but they'll both be in NBA lottery picks, so it's one and done, and God bless them.
You think they'll just play 1 year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is great. I think the direction the school is moving is just up, and up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you told us about your 3 favorite moments now, but you told me on the phone today that you couldn't give me any details, but you had some exciting news about something going forward.
Well, there's the sponsorship deals that are coming down. They'll be announced January, February, March next year, and some of them will be split with the NIL money. So
Yeah.
we'll have a fair amount of money.
So, and when you say a sponsorship deal, you're saying somebody who's already probably backing the school, whether Coca-Cola, and then we're going to take 40% of what Coke gives to the school and slide it over?
Something like that. So when you go in the Convocation Center, look at the ads up on the wall.
I didn't want to say any of those names.
But I can't remember them. But that's what will be coming down the pike. It'll
Okay.
be very exciting.
And how is the school okay? I mean, obviously we need the money for NIL, but at the same time, the school's already been getting that money. They're used to getting that money. Are they?
Well, some of them, when the deals come up, they ask for more money on the total deal, so
Gotcha.
that some of it can be sliced out and sit to the NIL.
Gotcha.
So
Are most of them more than a 1 year deal, the sponsorships?
most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's again, it'll be very, very exciting. So.
Now, will you be attending Wake Forest in Indiana next year?
I've got to decide. I'm probably going to do one or the other. I'm not like Will, just a bon vivant and can just travel anywhere I want with an unlimited budget.
He is a traveling Jones,
I
isn't he?
love that word, bon vivant.
Yeah, that's a fancy French word for good fellow, lively, something like that.
I heard it on the nanny the other day, and I said, that's a pretty cool word, bon vivant.
Bon vivant.
Yeah.
Bon vivant. For all of you who do not like the word vagabond, he is a bon
Bon
vivant.
vivant.
Yeah.
Flag waving bon vivant.
He is a flag waver.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a bon, okay.
He's a vivant.
That's cool. So what else can you tell us that's coming down in other sports? Anything new? I mean, we know the baseball stadium's being built. They're going to play at the Marietta campus.
Yeah, the
for
Walter
first few
Kelly
games.
Field. You probably remember Kelly Chrysler.
Kelly
Plymouth,
Chrysler right there
yeah.
on Cobb Parkway.
Named for
Or on 41 then, what
Yeah.
they called Cobb Parkway.
yeah. So that's coming. I bought my season tickets. Have y'all bought yours?
For baseball?
Yeah,
Not.
I have not.
it's $50 for a season ticket.
That's tough.
That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So, how far into the season are we hoping that the stadium's open? Is it by conference play that we're hoping? Waiting to see.
I don't know. I kind of thought they spent so much money getting the field in Marietta ready that they will probably play the whole season there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. Nobody's called me and told me.
Well, and I know a little bit about construction, and I know that anybody who gives you a date without knowing the weather for January, February, and March can't really tell you anything because if it rains a lot or
Yeah,
too
they
cold.
had poured concrete in the steel frame over there, so here
They
we
haven't?
are. No, they got the frame up, but
Okay.
you know, you look and it's so
Yeah, but
halfway through December.
Once they pour that concrete, it could just start exploding. So
It could.
I hope.
It could.
Well, I want to get Will on here along with Carrick and talk about one specific thing. Will, if you could come join us, please. They've got something going on Friday that I want to hear more about.
Should we do a brain train?
Yeah, go ahead and brain train, Larry.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention, sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high pressure situations? Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit braintraincentersinc.com.
All right, thank you very much, Meg and Melissa, for being sponsors of the Owls Who Live Sports, or the Owl Show. You got something to say?
I do. I was going to say, if you don't come and watch the show in person, you just miss some Jeff Coden trivia.
Yeah.
There's always stuff that happens here that you have to be.
There was a Dallas lineman or linebacker named Jeff Coat.
Yeah, it was Jim Jeffcoat.
Jim
wasn't it?
Jeffcoat.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. That's not your relatives.
No.
Differently.
No, his relative hit Don Zimmer in the head with a baseball.
Absolutely. And I've got his baseball cards.
Oh, that's
There you go.
fun.
There you go.
So everybody, welcome Will Renfro back to the show. Listen to that crowd. Listen to that crowd.
They love the flag waver.
Absolutely.
So I called Will today, and he told me that he had a meeting set up Friday. And I called Carrick and told him, I said, well, what kind of connections do Will have that I don't have? Because I can't get this meeting.
I got a meeting in January.
Yeah.
I got the meeting before Carrick.
I know it. So how did this come about? Will and Garrett and Tom and Dustin were meeting with Coach Mack on Friday.
Yeah, one of the things we did is we just, as a group, we reached out and said, hey, we wanted to welcome him to the school, but we also wanted him to know that we were available to however we could support the program. Mm-hmm. And said, just, hey, if you got some free time, we'd like to meet with you. And it so happens he's got some free time Friday morning, so we're going to go talk.
It's brilliant. I mean, not just the fact that you asked, but if you're a coach coming into a situation, who would you like to make friends with? I don't know, the 6 guys who run the largest tailgate, who want you to succeed. I think it's brilliant that you asked and brilliant for him to accept.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how Dustin, Will, and Garrett and Tom equal 6.
Well, it all depends on what they eat beforehand.
That was before the weight loss.
All right, so that's pretty cool. You guys are meeting at the Combo Center, I guess?
Or
in his
at
office?
the coach's office.
Yeah. So you will
Coach's office.
You will mention good things about the Owl Show and how much money we go into the program, and you will persuade him.
Well, I'm going to tell him about the show because I want him to come on the show.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want him over here on a Wednesday night.
January 8th, maybe.
That would be a great time.
Any Wednesday in January would be fantastic.
Getting this meeting on Friday was kind of a challenge because of managing up our his open times. But because he's heavy in the recruiting season right now, and he's still got to fill out his coaching staff. Mm-hmm. He's got most of that in place, but I don't think a lot of it's been announced, but most of that's in place. So he's a busy man. So we're just going to take the quick opportunity to meet with him.
Did you actually talk to him or just through email? Or
I did not set up the meeting. So one of the other 3 guys did.
All right. Tom?
Sounds like a Tom.
No, it was actually Dustin.
Oh, really? Look at Dustin.
The quiet one of the group.
Yeah. Natalie might have something to do with it.
No, and it does make sense what you said about a lot of things are done, but you might not know about them, because if he's getting a coach from College Z, College Z might want him to not let the world know that until their bowl game's over. So,
Yes.
so he's got all sorts of things.
Until they play
irons in the
Ohio
fire.
State in the playoff game.
Oh, Lordy.
Just if you know who that might be. I think that one's pretty public knowledge, though. One of the assistants from Tennessee is coming to.
Well,
Kennesaw.
but, you know, neither here nor there. Hypothetically speaking, let's just talk hypothetically. Kennesaw State would love for Ohio State to win that game. We can move on and start getting. I don't think that's going to happen.
But
I think there's a chance Tennessee, but you know, the quicker Tennessee loses, the quicker our staff is finished.
absolutely.
Buckeye Nation is mad at you, Robert.
That's okay. I was born up in the corner of their state.
That's
It's
all
okay.
right. Marshall's mad at me, so Garrett made sure of that, and now Ohio State's mad at Robert, so that's okay.
There's a slight difference with me telling the world that I think Tennessee might beat Ohio State, and you talking about a plane wreck. I'm just saying
Okay.
there might be a slight difference.
There's a difference in a plane wreck and a train wreck.
Yeah.
Not in my book. It's
So,
funny.
talking about everybody's favorite moments, these two kind of hit on all the same subjects. How about you for 2024?
Oh, one of my favorite moments was was just playing the first game as an FBS school. It was out in San Antonio, but we had one of our alumni, Mickey Dunn, invited a bunch of the people from the school out to his house. He actually has a house out there in Fredericksburg, which is wine country of Texas.
You went to that too, didn't you, Ken?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
The wine country of Texas, flat, no trees.
Oh no, there's hills.
Oh, they got a couple
The
hills.
hill country.
It's
Okay, that's
beautiful
good.
out there.
It is beautiful.
And so he invited us out the night before to have a reception and dinner at his house. It was a wonderful trip, and I was glad just to be included. I was an accidental invite, but
Oh, you're an actor.
You're a +1.
yes, I was a plus
That's
one.
okay.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the trip, enjoyed playing, and we played a good game. We were not blown out by San Antonio, and
Yeah.
so I enjoyed that. That was fun. It wasn't as fun as the first win and getting to storm the field. I mean,
Twice.
Twice.
yeah, twice. Well, so I guess now I've stormed the field 3 times, but twice was at one game.
Yeah, it all depends on how that breaks down.
Yeah.
Do I get street cred for storming the field 3 times?
Did they storm the field with a second win?
No. But in 2017, we
okay.
we didn't really storm the field. It was more like we all walked on the field for the trophies presentation when we won our first conference championship.
Okay. All right.
Well, you know, I think if you look back to in 2017 when we beat Jacksonville State, we were there in Jacksonville.
Yes.
There were a lot of people on the field then too, and
I was not one of them, but yeah,
Okay.
there were people on the field.
yeah, it was very loud.
We stormed an opponent's field.
Yeah, it was very loud, and we took over the game crowd-wise.
Absolutely, we did.
Yes.
So we talked to Garrett about this a little bit. What do you guys think about Rich Rod moving back to West Virginia?
We've scared 2 coaches now. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know that. We're playing Jack State. His coach ran away, and the Wake Forest coach
Yeah.
Dave Clausen.
he
Yeah.
resigned this
After
week because
17
we were up
years,
first for his
And
schedule.
the Sam Houston State coach left.
That's
too.
right. So that's 3 coaches have
Yeah.
resigned or
And
gone.
every coach that had an owl was gone, so I think we
Yeah.
can throw another one in there. I'm sure we played at least one
There you
other
go.
owl
Yeah.
this year.
yeah. So.
That's crazy. So we'll continue with your favorite moments.
Oh well, the first game, the first win, but also it wasn't really a favorite. It wasn't on the field moment, but they tore down the old baseball stadium, and I'm excited about having a new one. I don't think it's going to be here in time for this baseball season. We're probably going to play all our games out at the Marietta campus.
That's what the gentleman before you shared with
The
us.
Walter Kelly Field.
Mayor
Yeah.
G. Krebs.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're moving forward, we tore the old stadium down. Progress is being made.
Progress.
That's very exciting. And also, we made it a huge announcement this year. So we haven't actually broken ground, but we made an agreement with Wellstar, and we're going to have a sport. I don't know what the name of the complex is, but we're
It's,
building a building.
Athletic Performance Center.
That's the name of the building.
APC.
There you go. We're building an APC. But we're building an athletic performance center in conjunction with Wellstar. And that's one of the things that the athletic teams have needed for a long time.
Well, and I can remember way back when we had Coach Bo on this show, and we were talking to him about the Performance Center, and it turns out in college football, you're only allowed to have the students for so long. And because our performance center was on that side of the interstate and our stadium's on this side, the time that it would take them to leave the campus to go over there counted against us. But with that new center, because of where it'll be located, there will be no time loss. So it's something that actually adds about 3 hours a week to actual playing
Practice
time and practice time. So that's a lot of time.
Hey, Garrett, why don't you grab a chair and sit over there next to Larry and put the headphones on?
We don't actually have a performance center now. We have a trailer where they get taped up. The performance center will allow them to also do a lot of data. I don't know if y'all noticed when Rutgers came here and played, but if you look at their uniforms, there was a device under every Rutgers player uniform just above their left hip. And that was tracking all their physical activity, how many steps they took, the heartbeat, all that. And that data will be fed in computers, and they'll be tracking that at Rutgers for all season. And that's type of performance. So, he's getting dehydrated. He's getting this.
And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be
able to do and be tracking. And it's going to be very interesting to the professors at the Wellstar School of Nursing at Kennesaw State, as they will be able to help. Their nurses will be able to help monitor that too.
And that's very cool. Sometimes you think about a sponsor, if Dunkin' Donuts sponsors it, they're not getting any. This is somebody who's going to love that data, and they're going to request the data and make us even more attractive.
Yeah. That's why it's in conjunction with Wellstar, because Wellstar is going to get a lot of knowledge out of this as well. So it's kind of like if IBM came into the computer science department. I mean, this is why they're doing that. So, and it's one of the other things is we don't have really a weight room where everybody can meet. We don't have facilities where the whole team can meet, and that's also going to be an addition that we're going to have.
How many players do we have on the team this year? 80?
80 plus?
No, we have about 120. You can have 85
gosh.
scholarships and 35 walk-ons.
So
roster limits are going to be adjusted next year by the NCAA. We can have 105 people on the roster, and they could all be scholarship if we can afford it.
But
they can be.
You're saying there's not a lot of rooms that can hold 105 to 120 guys.
That's correct.
That's awesome. Yeah, there will be soon.
Yeah, so those are the things I'm excited about. This is just the future and us growing. The timing of going into Conference USA was always kind of questionable, but the effects of going into FCS and playing on Wednesday nights and Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, there's a big financial impact to that. And so that's going to help us going forward.
Are there any metrics as to how much exposure we've gotten because of those games?
Yeah, they have a lot of social media metrics and mentions, and it's.
I mean, it had to go through the roof. I mean,
it's through the roof on what was compared to previous years.
Correct. Yeah. Zero exposure.
Yeah.
And it all started with the Xavier game, the basketball game. And that's when it really kind of started, when we made the
tournament.
The tournament, yeah. And then giving the Conference USA and playing the Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Friday night games too, even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you come into Miller's on a Wednesday night, and during football season, and who's on TV? It's Conference USA.
Correct.
So if we're one of the teams playing that Wednesday, we're going to be on TVs. Not only in Georgia, we're going to be on TVs in Alabama. We're going to be on TVs in the Midwest. Schools that have never heard of us.
Yep.
And so, that's what it's all about.
And that'll help Coach Mack, too, from a recruiting standpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what else helps Coach Matt? Even though we don't, Coach Mack doesn't care about it or whatever. The Liberty guy going to Colorado. When people think, hey, I can go to Conference USA and then leapfrog and go somewhere else if I need. Now, obviously, we're not looking for people to leave us once they come to us, but if that's how we're able to get them in the first place, so be it, right?
Yep.
And his first name's Jimmy, is that right?
Jerry.
Jerry Mack. I thought about the old song Jimmy Mack by the Supremes. Remember that?
Is there anything worse than the Red Blob getting interviewed on TV?
The Western Kentucky Red Blob is on TV.
Yeah, Jerry Mack. Jerry. It would work with Jimmy Mack.
Yeah, still two syllables.
Jerry Mack.
Well, I'm taking claim to this right now.
Great song.
If the offense gets explosive this year, we're calling it the Mack Attack.
Yes.
I don't think there's
Big
a
Mac
way.
Attack.
I mean,
Big Mac Attack.
It's kind
McDonald's sponsorship.
knowing that we're a triple option team that has started to go towards the run pass option, I see us getting conventional as maybe, pro form, whatever, but we're going to run. We're going to run a lot. I think, this is not going to be a wide open, hey, throw it everywhere around. I think this is get a bell cow and show everybody who he is.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I tell you, the offense that I enjoyed watching most this past week was Navy. I don't know if you watched the Navy.
Oh, that was an exciting game.
That was a fantastic game, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I did not expect that outcome with
Nobody
Army going
showed it.
with
Nobody
Army
did.
going in 11-1. I think they thought they were going to win, but
we talk about that all the time with, Ohio State versus Michigan. You only have to beat one opponent. And if ever that was more truer, it's Navy Army.
Commander-in-Chief Bowl.
And, when they ran that fake punt and an old 340-pound he fumbled the ball, but that's okay. It was a very exciting play.
I remember him saying he was running 20 miles an hour, that they timed him at 20 miles an hour.
So one of our retired athletic administrators called Brian Newberry, the head coach of Navy, on Sunday to give him his congratulations. As they were talking, Coach Newberry said that it was a surreal experience when the Secretary of the Navy comes and hugs you and is crying because y'all won. He was so happy.
That is very, very cool.
But once again, this is how important it is.
Yes.
And the last thing anybody who wants to think about in a Navy is, do I need to fire my coach? He's thinking, we got a Army coming in at 11-1. I love you, man. I don't even have to answer a question about your job's good.
Yeah, Army may have won the American Athletic Conference, but they're still going to remember they got beat by Navy.
Yeah, but who did they beat in the the American Athletic American Conference?
Not Navy.
Was it Tulane? I don't remember.
That's who it was.
Not Navy. That's who it wasn't.
Let's do our last commercial, Robert, and we'll continue with this crowd.
Are you sure you don't want me to read one of the ones that I've already?
Yeah, let's do a different one. This
All right. Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access in their 3.5 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile Axe experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out them for upcoming events and festivals, including some Falcons games. Look them up at American Access or give us a call tomorrow at 678-763-3635.
Where can you call them?
That'd be at 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And we thank you, Dan Fisher, for being sponsors of the Owls Who Live Sports. Speaking up, go ahead, Rob.
I just want to throw Dan Fisher out there real quick. We love our sponsors, and we always talk about if you come on this show how things go great for you. Yeah. Dan is now qualified. He's a top 20 in the world axe thrower. He used to be, and then he got out of it for a while, but now all of a sudden he's put himself back in it, and he's qualified for all these things. So pretty darn cool.
He's on the cutting edge.
I thought we talked about you not encouraging it with those long laughs.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's great. And we do have a couple of new sponsors coming on next month. Revere
Rides.
Revere Rides with Travis Loudermilk, Congressman Barry Loudermilk's son. It's a car detailing company.
No, it's a car ride company.
Car ride company.
I was able to contract with Travis, and he drove me and a couple of people down to the Georgia State basketball game.
Oh, nice.
Look at that.
Drove us back home, too.
So I spoke to Travis, and he's going to be on the show sometime in January, too. He's a big sports fan.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's called a Black Car Service. So I've talked to him about giving me a ride to the Jacksonville State game next year so he can hold 6 other people with us. So
Awesome.
if any of y'all want to do that, we can split the ride.
I think we're good. 6 right here.
Yeah.
That vote for the tailgates next week, right?
Yes,
that's right.
It is. Thank you.
Oh, just so everybody knows,
Yes, Mr. Brackett, sir.
Carrick is asked to join our tailgate.
No, my wife has asked to join tailgate.
Well, which means
she will definitely be elected. I may
she's
be
already
voted
in.
out. Yeah.
she's in.
People,
So
we love Grace. Grace, I'm not even part of the tailgate. She's already a shoo-in.
we told Carrick we had to vote whether or not he
I
could tailgate
understand
with us.
that. It all depends.
Wow.
Sometimes you get Carrick. Sometimes you get Maynard G. Krebs. I
Yeah.
mean, you never know what you're getting with him.
Yeah. So I've been having to feed information to Will this week to get
Get on my
in
good side.
graces. Yeah,
I thought Mr. Bracket Sir was a really good closing. to that
Mr.
one.
Bracket, sir, because there's a rumor going around that our Wake Forest football game, which is scheduled for Saturday, August the 30th,
Oh, I can't go.
might be changed to Thursday night, August 28th.
Oh, I could go.
That's a rumor.
So what? This is karaoke.
That's karaoke night, August 30th.
Well, that's also my anniversary.
Oh, is
but
it?
that's never stopped me from
No,
going
it
to
won't
games
stop
before.
you.
And I had forgotten it was your anniversary. I learned that earlier this year, but I was thinking it could be your grandkid's first birthday, right? That's somewhere
That's
right in there.
July.
Okay. Yeah.
He was due like at the end of August.
That's what it
but he
was.
was born in early July.
Overachiever came
Yes,
early.
and
yeah.
Stetson is doing fantastic.
That is great to hear. Youngest person we've ever had on the show. He didn't say much, but it's okay.
But he looked good.
He looked great.
So I will say this: if you're planning a trip to the Wake Forest game, you might as well go a day early and go to Mount Airy, North Carolina, and do the Mayberry tour.
Mayberry.
Because we did that after March Madness last year, or 2 years ago, or whenever it was.
Year and a half.
Well worth it. It was so much fun.
I got a friend that goes up to Mayberry Days every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good friends with Charlene Darling, and she passed away last year. But she sent him a Christmas card every year.
It's
And-
me. It's Ernest T.
Yeah,
Now, how far from Wake Forest is that?
very close.
It was about an hour from Greensboro, so
Even closer.
Yeah.
Right?
And Wake Forest is a beautiful campus. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
ever been up there before, but my niece
I've never been on.
considered playing tennis up there, and we went up to visit it. It's a beautiful campus.
One of my cousins went there, and she graduated. And I know it's a beautiful school, private school.
All those schools up there in the whatever they call that, the Triangle, are really, really nice.
except for Duke.
Yeah, dude.
I made that comment for Patrick Vickers, who's probably not listening, but y'all tell him that.
That's where all the halfbacks live.
Yeah.
Is Patrick a Dookie?
Oh, no, he hates Duke.
He hates Duke.
okay.
Hates Duke.
I have that in common with Patrick.
Yeah. Well, good, because
Isn't he a Mets fan?
yes, he is a
Big
Mets
Mets
fan. He
fan.
does have a problem there.
Right. We draw the line at the first coincidence.
Yeah. It's a baseball team with a drinking problem there, the Mets.
They need a lot more money because they just gave it all to one guy.
Gave it all to one guy.
Yes, they did.
So, Will, you talked about your favorite moments. What are you most looking forward to in the future?
Oh, I'm looking forward to a bowl game.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're watching Western Kentucky play JMU in the Boca Raton Bowl.
They're tied at 14.
Yeah, but I think going to a bowl is very reasonable in the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, we're getting recruits. We've got a new coach. We've got the chance in Conference USA to make a bowl game, and I've been to a bowl game with Georgia before. I've been to bowl games with Georgia Tech, but I would love to go to a bowl game wearing my Kennesaw outfit.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. And 4 teams made it before the 5th one had to be added.
Before
So
Louisiana
there's a lot
Tech
of
had to be added,
opportunities.
yeah.
Yeah, one of them's in the Bahamas.
The
isn't it?
Bahamas.
Yeah. The Bahamas Bowl.
So let me ask you this, and I don't know that you've gone this far with your scheduling yet, but are you coming home after the first game?
Well, let me tell you this: I am more excited about going to Bloomington,
I
Indiana,
don't
than
blame
probably
you.
anybody, and because it's home of where my second favorite movie was made,
Breaking Away?
Breaking Away.
Yes, what a great movie.
So that was a movie. Dennis Quaid out of the '70s when he was very
Yes.
young. Was a movie about a bicycle
Correct.
rider.
Bicycle ride.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the first one before there was Quicksilver. There was
Yes,
Breaking Away.
It was Breaking Away.
Yes.
And I've always wanted to go to Bloomington, Indiana, just because of that movie.
Cutter.
He's a cutter. So I'm looking forward to that. So I don't know if we will probably come home after the Wake Forest game, but
I
I'm
would have
definitely
to now
going to
because of
Bloomington.
karaoke, but I'd love to go to both games.
Yeah.
I really would.
The president of Indiana University System, Pam Whitten, used to be president of
President of
Kennesaw
KSU.
State. And her chief of staff is Brenda Stouffer, who used to be the accountant in our athletic department. Brenda's done well.
That's good.
I did not know that about Brenda.
Yeah.
Carrick's more in the know than I am.
Hey, if you
Yeah,
allow
but
him
he can't
into
get
your
a meeting with Jerry Mack.
Well, there you go.
if you allow
I'm
him
asking
into
for
your
one.
tailgate, he will be able to give you a few cool tidbits along the way.
Well, that's the way this is working.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm learning these things.
So do we know the home games for next year already?
I believe so.
Well, we know the conference games because it would be the away games from this year. So we've got UTEP at home. We've got Middle Tennessee at home.
UTEP's leaving.
They're leaving
Goodbye,
Conference
UTEP.
USA?
Yeah.
We've got, I think, New Mexico State, which we did not play this year, is a home game next year, right?
Yes.
This
Maybe
year?
they're replacing UTEP. then.
Yes, and we Missouri State and Delaware are being added.
That's
to the
right,
conference.
Delaware, the Blue Hens.
The only thing that we have locked right now for next year's schedule is at Wake on the 30th.
28th.
It's
That's
being
changing.
moved.
Possibly.
Is it
Just say-
definitely going to be done?
Just hey,
It's a alleged rumor.
it's Carrot confirmed. That doesn't.
Then we
Don't
have,
make your room reservations yet. How about that?
which would actually be much more beneficial for the team because instead of it being a week off between in North Carolina, gives you an extra day, so
Couple
that'd
of
be
days,
nice.
yep.
And then the only other one is that's a tough team, boys. Arkansas State.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're coming here.
The Red Wolves.
And I watch a lot of bowl games, and they make a bowl game every year. And there's always somebody who walks into that game sleepwalking, and Arkansas State wakes them up real quick.
Yes.
Yes.
So the home games that we had this year, like we had Liberty at home, we had Jacksonville State at home. Those will be away next year.
Correct.
So
And we'll have Western Kentucky at
here.
home, Middle Tennessee State at home.
yes, but Liberty is a great game to go see. Liberty's a great. I mean, it's a school with a lot of money. It's a beautiful campus. It's a beautiful stadium, and there's a great not World War II, a D-Day memorial on the way up there.
Which is where you expect it
Yeah.
in the panhandle of Virginia.
Well, it's actually not a government memorial. It's one of the largest private memorials, and it's specific to D-Day because of the. It's in Bedford, Virginia, and if you're a history buff, you can read about the Bedford Boys, and that's why it was put there. It's a beautiful memorial. Somebody told me about it a few years ago when we played Liberty up there, and I was just riding along. I get off about Roanoke and start heading over towards Lynchburg, and I see this sign that says Bedford, and I'm like, well, let's just go. So I took over and went over and saw it on the way up there a few years ago.
Wow. You think we could kidnap the Blob when he was down here and
Oh
hold
my
him
God!
for ransom?
People like to take Navy's goat and stuff like that. How fun would it be to steal the Blob and we'll put Larry inside the car? Have Larry running around in the red blob. Who's that red blob? It's Larry. Larry's in the costume.
You know, if I had
Out Larry for the Blob.
If I had not lost all my weight, I could just put on a red shirt and people would confuse me for the Blob.
Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore, sir.
No. But, when we went up to Western Kentucky, I didn't see the Blob. I don't know if he was there. It was the weirdest thing. I kind of was looking for
Garrett's
him.
shaking his head, said he saw him.
He said he saw HR puffing stuff.
You can talk, Garrett. You don't have to just nod.
Got a microphone.
He was on the other side of the field.
Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't have my glasses on.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
We might ought to plan on kidnapping the Blob.
Oh my God! How fun would that be if we became notorious for messing with the other
Mascots?
team's mascots?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, if you ever want,
Publicity, baby. Publicity.
Oh, we could have the Scrappy eating a blue hen when we play Delaware.
well,
Did you remember the basketball game a couple of weeks ago where they had the Blob things out at the court in the halftime, and one of them ate a guy?
Oh, yeah.
And, that would be
These
appropriate.
big inflatable suit
Like
things.
Pac-Man?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have this theory that I have proposed to the president's office. Lisa Duke, if you're listening, please remember this. I call it the aggressive mascot theory, that we would be on national TV for several weeks if we made Scrappy super aggressive and just go tackle and punch and do everything else to the other team's mascots before the game.
oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah,
get a
I like this.
former high school wrestler.
I was going to say we got to make sure
Wait a minute.
whoever's in
Yeah.
the outfit is ready to run.
Yeah, we're ready to win.
Braun Breaker, we need you.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I was going to
Braun
say.
Breaker.
But you don't want some freshman who's like
No.
who can only lift
Yeah.
a barbell. And I'm not saying that's our current thing, but if we're going to go for fights, we're looking for a loaded gun.
Yes.
Not
So we have about
actually
20 students that can potentially be scrappy at
Oh,
any
that's
time.
beautiful.
But we
Wow,
need to
that's a
have
bunch.
a Braun Breaker type in that outfit when it's the aggressive
Absolutely.
mascot.
Or
What is
Larry.
Scrappy running for? Holy moly, it's the Blob. He's
Or-
going for the Blob.
Yeah.
Or, as a publicity stunt, we have Braun Breaker come attack Scrappy. Braun Breaker as Braun Breaker. Attack Scrappy.
And then Scrappy wins?
Well, we haven't scripted the show yet, but you know how that WWE stuff
I
goes.
think I like it better, Braun Breaker in the Scrappy outfit,
I think so.
taking on the other mascots.
You remember in the
Who's that?
70s?
It's the Liberty Flame.
At one of the Peach Bowls in the 70s when Clemson played Baylor, and the Clemson Tiger and the little Clemson Tiger outfit was messing with the Baylor Bear, the real bear, and the bear said, "I've had enough," kind of like when Bevo attacked Uga. The bear swiped the tiger, knocked him off his feet.
People are so dumb around the animals.
That dry cleaner has since resigned. He's no longer cleaning the Clemson suit.
No, yeah. There's a lot of fun that we could have with all these different teams. You know, a big bucket of water for the Flames when you see the Flames mascot, just douse them right before the
with
game.
flames.
Yeah.
I like
Just
it.
all sorts of fun.
We've got another show booked. That's a good thing.
And
So we still got to do the barnyard brawl against Jackson
Well, we
State.
could be eating the chickens at the Jack State game.
I like what you said.
And
He's eating
Delaware
he's
Blue
eating some-
Hens.
Blue Hens.
You can have
Yeah.
blue
What's that?
chicken.
Yeah, well, that's great. Robert's got to go pick somebody up, and we're at top of the hour. Guys, thank you so much. Garrett, Carrick, and Will, thank you guys so much.
powers activate.
There we
There
go.
you go. I hope everybody out there has a Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. And we're off for 2 weeks. We will not be back until January the 8th. And, man, we're going to have a lot to talk about them when we get back.
I bet Lisa Duke calls me about the aggressive mascot theory between now and then.
I like that.
Well, we'll find out.
I'm
on
down with
January
this.
the 8th. And hopefully we can have Coach Jerry Mack on sometime in January. Until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Happy holidays.